guys, this is your warning. We do post up spoilers. At times we're relatively offensive. We use vulgar language. So if you think that any of those are gonna offend you in any way, shape, or form, take your step back right now. Because, buddy, this is not the place for you. Anywho, have fun listening to us. And yeah, this has been your final warning.
Hello all you thirsty fuckers, and welcome to another episode of Cinematic Anarchy, and welcome to part 1 of 2 of our late night triple feature picture show. And yeah, here we are, Piper, again, who I have caught off guard with my opening, and who is trying to stifle laughter in the background here. Just
I was trying.
You were trying. You were trying.
Oh, you thirsty fuckers.
You know, well, I'm trying to get away from it. I'm trying to get away from ending our podcast with "Drink some water, you thirsty bitches," because that was Miss B's line, and she's not here anymore. So
we need to find something new.
We need to find a new send off to send the thirsty fuckers out into oblivion. We'll see.
Jesus, I think you watched a little too much of this shit. Sending people off to oblivion.
Yes, we're going to send them to oblivion.
Thank you, Riff Raff. Thank you. If y'all don't know, we're doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
And
for our second half, we're doing Shock Treatment, the pseudo-sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show.
The thing that happened that was there because Rocky Horror existed. That's all I can really give it. It happened because...
I can actually give it a lot more than that as on my second rewatch. Or on my first rewatch, because I watched it the first time 2 weeks ago, and then I watched it again today.
If I take all of the hate and viscera that people threw at this fucking movie and just take it for what it is, which is a very, very loosely grafted sequel. It's not even a sequel. It's just sort of a thing with similar components to Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Things of they had a few drafts that just never were brought to the light.
Well, okay.
For an actual sequel.
You said the word rolling around in my head. Rocky Horror Picture Show was sort of dark, whereas Shock Treatment was bright and in your face.
I think that's the only element that was missing was an actual horror type of element.
I felt like I was watching an evangelical Christian show. Tell me
somebody called Tammy Faye from the grave.
The Cult of McDonald's. The Cult of McDonald's. No? Yeah? Maybe.
Ooh, makes me want a French fry real bad.
But first, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Give us a synopsis, Miss Piper. I was going to call you Miss B. I'm sorry. I almost called you Miss B. And I cut you off.
No, I'm not Miss B. I'm Miss P.
I'm not going to call you Miss P. That will not be your unfortunate nickname in this show. Hey, Miss P.
No, you can just call me Piper.
Piper.
All right, so we have Brad and Janet. They get engaged, and then they go to visit Dr. Everett Scott, where they met in his class, because that was their teacher. And on the way there, they get a blowout, and they have to go to a castle, try to find a phone, and that's where, they get wrapped up in hilarious horror and lust.
Now, when you say they had a blowout, that's a tired. They didn't go to a salon and get their hair done.
Oh wait, I never think about getting my hair blown
out.
I didn't go to a salon to get a blowout.
I don't know. I've never been blown out. So.
I've been. Never mind.
Yeah.
So for this movie, we do have a long cast. You got Tim Curry as Frankenfurter, Richard O'Brien as Riff Raff, also the creator of Rocky Horror.
Yes.
The musical, and then also for the screenplay when it got picked up for film.
And of course, he is also the creator of our second movie as well.
Yes.
Yes, and pretty much stars in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shut me up and move on.
Both.
Just shut me up and move on.
Then we got Susan Sarandon as Janet Weiss, Barry Bostwick as Brad Majors, Meatloaf as Eddie, Peter Henwood as Rocky Horror, and funny note, he's only had 4 movies in his acting career, and this was his third.
This was his third movie?
This was his third movie. He mostly did modeling before this.
Okay.
Then you have, in this movie, she's credited as Little Nell, playing Columbia, and her real name is Nell Campbell, because in the second movie, or shock treatment, she's listed as Nell Campbell. And I think a lot of when she went more professional, she went Nell Campbell.
I think IMDb recognizes her as Nell Campbell as well.
Yeah.
Little Nell was sort
Patricia
of a
Quinn. Yeah.
stage name.
True. You have Patricia Quinn as Magenta, Charles Gray as a criminologist, Jonathan Adams as Dr. Everett Scott, and Jeremy Newson as Ralph Hapshat. The only reason I bring him up is because he's at the very beginning when he gets married to Betty Monroe, and then he also reprises his role for shock treatment.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was the only reason I even brought him up, because
Hilary
he reprised
Farr?
his role.
Hilary Farr is Betty Monroe.
Yeah, but she doesn't reprise her role.
Well, I know. I'm just saying that. Did you mention Hillary's name?
No.
Well, why would you mention the one guy who's why would you mention the guy who's married to Betty Monroe if you don't?
Because he actually had lines that wasn't just, "Okay, ladies, you ready?"
Well, okay, fine. I'll give you that. Fine.
she had one line, and then she's only mentioned one more time, and that was a couple more times when Brad is sitting there talking to Janet about, "Oh, Betty's a good little cook."
What?
And then, yes, when he's talking to Janet before, like walking through the graveyard part a little bit, he was talking about, yes, everyone knows that Betty's a good little cook, because they were talking about how lucky Betty and Ralph were, because it was almost like that the whole thing that sometimes women do, unfortunately, where women will skate around the whole they want to get married but don't want to tell a man that they want to get engaged type thing, and he's sitting there wanting to pop the question, but it's like nerves.
Right.
Right, it's like it's the transition right before Damn It, Janet.
Okay.
Because the only other time Betty's mentioned after that is in the song Damn It, Janet, when she's like, it's nicer than the one Betty Monroe had, talking about her engagement ring.
Like I'm a little lost. I'm a little lost there for a minute. I think they actually said, and I'm going to actually talk about the other movie for just a moment, that there's a part in this movie that somehow made it into the other movie. The area where they act like that famous American Gothic painting, like right in front of the church, where they have Riff Raff, and it's not Magenta.
I want to say it's Magenta.
Riff Raff Magenta, and I think you have
you have
Tim Curry in the background.
Tim Curry,
who looks like he's playing the priest.
He is, but then he disappears before they look like they're part of the American Gothic thing.
Right, but I guess a portion of that ended up in like the dressing room scene.
In shock treatment?
Like as a picture hanging in the background.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm going to play the movie in the background. If I happen to see it, I'll squeal really loud. I don't squeal, but I will.
Yes.
Yes,
squeal like a piggy. Oh, wait, wrong movie. Oh, Jesus. You did that a little too well.
I can do that. I do barnyard animals way too well. I don't do barnyard animals. I make voices like barnyard animals. Do not misquote me. Motherfucker. Okay.
Gosh, you're almost like Drew Barrymore in the outtakes of Charlie's Angels.
Jeez. Anyway, moving on.
All right, one thing I just have to note for both movies is Janet is very easily influenced. Like, she is very easily taken by whatever's coming her way.
Well, see, she is the atypical person that gets abducted by the cult. Like, you have the cult of Frankenfurter, and then you have the cult of what, Farley?
Denton.
What is that? Farley something.
Farley Flavors.
Farley Flavors. There you go. I wanted to call him Fast Freddy Farley. I don't know why.
God, you're sitting here trying.
There were way too many F's in that whole first scene.
5.
The 5 F's. Farley.
We'll get there.
Flavors. Fast. Wait, Farley Flavors Fabulous Fast Food?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There was 5 F's, and fuck wasn't one of them, so I wasn't really paying that much attention.
All I know is it looked like a vague Nazi symbol on the floor.
Yeah, I was watching a reviewer do something on that. I forgot the reviewer's name, but he was like, "Can we not make this look like a swastika?"
It did. It looked like a swastika.
It did.
One less F and it would have been. If it was the 4 F's, he would have been fucked.
We'll get into some of that later, but I mean, come on. Some of the things that are in there anyway.
Yeah, there was some weird shit in there. Some pretty hateful shit in there.
But let's get back to Rocky Horror.
Let's get to it. Let's get back.
All right. So I got Janet is very easily influenced. I mean, it's just she could be taken by anything. And then I think I started taking my notes like halfway through the movie, like after they got into the castle. But it's like we see Brad take some. It's like they're supposed to be this typical, like they have these 50s values type thing, and then it's like, but then Brad is sitting here just damn it, damn it, damn it, and then the blowout happens. Damn it,
damn it, Janet, I love you.
Oh, Brad.
But I feel like Brad, in the opening moments, had a bit of a macho edge to him, but then the second they hit the house, he turned into a blubbering, whining idiot.
I wouldn't say a blubbery, whiny idiot, because, I mean, there are parts where he starts trying to take charge, too, because he's like, all we wanted to do was use a phone, goddammit.
He was spineless. He was. Well, he might have been a little mouthy, but spineless.
There was parts where he was spineless. I mean, because there was parts where, like, Jen is, like, freaking out and, like, she's just like, I'm just plain frightened. I'm here. There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Samuel L. Jackson play that role. Of course, he wouldn't have been in that because I think he maybe been a little too young. I don't know. How old was Samuel L. Jackson way back when?
Way back when, I'm pretty sure he was how old he was. How old he was at that time.
I'm not doing the on the spot maths that's going to require me to look this up. This is what we need. One of the things that we need for this podcast. If anybody's looking to sit down and be part of a podcast that couldn't possibly pay them a red cent to do a little bit of research while we talk, come sit down with us. We'd love to have you with us. What we need is a lovely person to sit down, and while we're doing things, if something comes up that needs to be Googled, they can just be like, he was 22, then pass it on,
The movie came out, this movie came out in 1975.
1975. So,
yes.
This came out a solid 2 years before I was born. Wow.
This movie came out a solid 12 years before I was born.
Okay.
Oh, God. And I have a funny story, because the first time I ever saw it, I might have been in 4th grade or so. And it was because my dad and he had a roommate living with him and my stepmom for a bit. And, like, they wanted to watch it. That roommate was weird. But they wanted to watch it. And apparently I was in the room, and, I think my stepmother had some objection to it, but my dad was like, they won't know. Well, he said because at the time I was just a little boy. But he was like, he's not going to know what's going on. Then, as I got older, like middle school age, I watched it again, and I just enjoyed the music. I didn't understand what half the shit was going on. Like, I was just enjoying the music for the most part. So my mom got the movie, because she loved the movie. May she rest in peace. And then when I moved back in with my dad, him and my stepmom actually took the movie and hid it. And I found it when I was in my, high school years, and I'm just like, Dad, you had me watch it first, but you got mad at Mama because she had the audacity to actually buy the movie after you already owned it.
Wait a minute. So he already owned it, and then she bought it again?
They were divorced.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
lived with my mom.
I've had a few copies of this movie over the years. A couple copies.
Me too.
I'm going to break down a wall real quick here for just a second. I'm noticing something. I'm just noticing a little something, and it's only because I think you're set up for, Twitch streaming and gaming, right?
Yes.
So your microphone and your camera are set up so they're to the side, and you can see me and look directly at me while we're talking, but I get to look at the side of your face the entire time.
I'm sorry, okay? Let me break the fourth wall here.
I'm just saying, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I just noticed this. How many times have we recorded, and now I'm cluing in?
A while, because it happened before I became homeless. When I was doing the podcast before I became homeless, it was the same way then.
I kept wanting to go, I'm over here.
I know where you are, sir. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you.
Okay. Moving on. Getting back into it. Let's go.
All right. So,
where are we?
Obviously, we're still in the beginning. It's like, we meet Riff Raff, we meet Magenta.
But in this particular instance, I don't think they are them, so to speak.
What?
I don't think that they are Riff Raff, Magenta, and Frankenfurter.
Columbia?
In Columbia. Was Columbia in there? I'm still... Did I just backtrack to the beginning scene? Damn it, Janet.
Yes.
And you're back at the castle going, we're over here where the time warp's happening.
You're over here, and I'm over here. Look, you did a time warp back to the beginning of the movie.
Yes, I was just like, hey, while you were talking, I hit rewind, and I'm over here now. Can you...
I took a to the left.
You took a step to the left. Okay, so we tripped through to where we blew out a tire, and then one of my favorite things where they're holding the newspapers over their heads. When has thin newspaper ever kept rain off of you?
I don't know. I'm also wondering how come the print didn't end up in her hair since it was right on top of her head and wet.
I don't know.
Newspaper ink runs.
Yeah, just a little bit. A little bit.
It runs like somebody who ate too many chimichangas.
Okay, so we have them being brought into the castle where we get to meet Riff Raff, Magenta, and
the skeleton in the clock that was actually real.
If I'm not mistaken, that guy that played like the lead actor from the second movie was one of the dancers in the beginning.
Well, they did have some Transylvanians in the Denton population.
No, I'm talking about. Oh God, what is his name? I'm gonna have to look up the movie now. You continue, and I'll do the thing. Do the thing.
Okay. So we're in the thing. We met Riff Raff, we met Magenta, and now Columbia starts doing her little tap dance thing. Which go her magical feet.
Yes.
Because that was hard to do. Like just watching it, I'm just like, how did she not break an ankle or 3? But I mean, she does her thing, and then they all fall down. They have too much ring around the rosy, and then we have Brad saying, "Does anybody know how to Madison?" I don't even know what that is.
I'm
gonna guess it's a dance.
That's one thing. We'll have to look it up afterwards. We'll just go Google or find a YouTube video. How do you Madison? And they'll probably show us some old ballroom dancing footage or whatever.
Ballroom dancing.
Ballroom. Well, I don't think
this ain't something that's on Dancing with the Stars.
Have you ever watched Dancing with the Stars and they're like, "Let's do the Madison"? Never.
No,
I've never heard.
But I know it's not ballroom.
Right.
Like Foxtrot and Paso Doble.
That's why I said old ballroom dancing. If that's even a ballroom dance.
You don't think a waltz and a Paso Doble are old?
I mean, would you rather
tango?
I mean, would you rather have said, "Can anybody do the tango? Do the twist. Do the mashed potato."
Can anybody do the Macarena?
Do the mashed potato. Do the twist.
What song are you doing? I know it.
I can mash potato. I can mash potato. Do the twist. No?
Oh, God. It's going stuck in my head now.
Okay, I'm back in Dirty Dancing mode here. Completely different movie.
And I've never watched it.
Isn't that like the opening song when they first walk up? She's carrying the watermelons. I carried watermelons. Did I just say I carried watermelons? Yeah, I'm talking about Dirty Dancing now.
A movie I just said I probably will never watch and never have.
You've never watched it and you never will?
Probably.
Why?
Not unless I'm forced to for this podcast.
And guess what you're going to watch now? You got to stop saying things like that to me then.
Well, I can't help it. Over half the time, my face gives me away, and then your face is just like, "Bitch, you haven't watched this?
Why have you not watched this?"
Come on.
You see, that's the problem, is that you should have watched it, and now you didn't watch it, and I'm going to have to make you watch it.
And now you're going to have to.
Bert
Schnick.
Schnick.
We have Frankenfurter.
Bert Schnick.
Was he in the first one? Oh, God, he was a guy he was the Transylvanian who was
Oh, my God.
One.
Wait a minute. Is that who that is? My brain just exploded momentarily.
If Bert Schnick...
The guy that plays Bert Schnick is Barry Humphries, who is also known as Dame Edna.
Who?
Dame Edna, like a famous cross-dresser.
Who?
Dame Edna. You've never seen this face before?
Bitch.
You've never seen Dame Edna. Oh my God. Okay.
No.
Wow. Okay. Fine. But yes, that's who that is.
I know Eddie. I know the Izzard Heifer.
The Izzard Heifer?
I forgot her first name. Does that count?
It's not Eddie Izzard anymore. It's something else.
I know. We've been through this because I had to look it up last time.
It's no longer Eddie
we went
Izzard.
through a whole thing, and you kept saying Eddie.
It's not Eddie Izzard
Although
anymore.
there is an Eddie in this movie, and we are getting to him.
Yes. Eddie!
Oh, God. Her squealing.
She...
Like...
I thought it maybe was just a thing, but I've seen a couple movies with her in it now, and that's just her voice.
Did you know she's actually Australian?
I did not know that. There's a few Australians in this.
Everybody else is mostly British.
It's Susie Izzard, by the way.
It's what?
Susie Izzard. The name
We're
that we
looking it
forgot. We apologize for dead naming you, Susie
do.
Izzard. We apologize, but that was stuck in our head.
But hell, the only reason, because everyone else in here who was not Brad and Janet was British, except for Columbia. She was Australian.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
Well,
and Meatloaf. He was English, apparently. But,
Bert
yeah.
Schnick from the next movie is also Australian.
Is he?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't look them up because most of them I already knew. But yeah, the studio said that it would test better for them to have American protagonists, so that's why Brad and Janet were recast with Susan Sarandon and stop stuttering, Piper. With Susan
I don't know
Sarandon
that that's his name.
and Barry Bostwick.
And stop stuttering, Piper.
I don't have a
Mr.
stutter.
Bostwick.
I don't know why all of a sudden it's like
It's because you've been doing this podcast with me for way too long, and I stutter constantly.
Fuck. Now I have your tripping over the tongue syndrome.
Yep. Apparently, it's catchy. It's like a venereal disease of the mouth.
It's TOTT, tripping over the tongue.
That's a little bit less caustic than venereal disease of the mouth.
Ew. I don't know.
I've got chlamydia tongue. Anyway.
Oh, also, before we even start talking about Rocky, Peter Hiddenwood was a very inexperienced actor, and I found out originally he was actually supposed to have dialogue, but they heard him try to give dialogue, and they said no.
You know what? You can just be really quiet. And when you sing, I don't think that was actually him singing either. I think they had somebody sing for him.
It was Australian singer Trevor White.
Right.
I looked it up.
You got so many notes here.
I did my due diligence.
Damn. See, teaching me shit.
Are you looking at my notes?
Huh?
Are you looking at the notes I sent you earlier?
The screen on my computer is not that big. No, I'm not looking at the notes. It's like, oh, I'm reading over your shoulder. No?
Oh, yeah.
No. Remember, you're not facing me. I can see all that stuff there. It's just blue blur, though, to me. So
it's blue.
It's the blue blur.
It's a blue blur.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then we have Frankenfurter, his famous, like... Oh, wait. I need to go back and talk about something super iconic. Super iconic. Like, probably the best opening to a movie ever. The lips.
Okay.
We did not talk about the song and the lips.
That's Patricia Quinn.
The lips are Patricia Quinn.
Yes, but...
The voice is Richard O'Brien.
Right. She was really upset that she didn't get to sing that.
I know, because at the theater, she sung the opening song.
Right, she was the one that sang the opening song in the stage play. That little bit I knew.
Yeah. Did you know that the lips on the poster were not her lips?
Okay, so the lips on the poster are not her lips. Who are those lips?
No. Those are Lorelei Shark, a former model.
So nobody associated with this movie had their lips placed on the poster.
Uh-huh.
But the lips that were in the opening were perfectly fine. Why not use hers?
I don't know. But
she's got some nice lips, I guess. I don't know.
It's like, but I had to go back and talk about the sequence, because that's, like, for me, probably the most iconic opening of a movie.
Okay.
For me. I don't know if you feel the same, but it's like, it's probably the most iconic. When you talk about Rocky Horror Picture Show, the most thing people remember are trannies and lips.
You know what? We should do an entire episode. Bring the guys on from Hazard Valley Films or from the Clock Out Films, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about all of our favorite iconic opening credit sequences.
Are there a lot?
Top 5. All movies have opening credit sequences. Some are just more elaborate than others.
It's like there's only 2 that stick out in my mind.
What other one?
I mean, we got this one and probably Troop Beverly Hills, and that's because I found the cartoon a little funny.
I liked the animated opening to oh God, what is the name of the movie now? One Crazy Summer was pretty good.
Never saw it,
okay.
But there is another movie I do like the opening for, and that was Tu Wong Fu.
Tu Wong Fu, thank you for everything.
Julie Newmar.
Okay.
Not forgetting her. She's so statuesque.
I couldn't forget Julie Newmar for the life of me. I used to watch the old Adam West Batman. Julie Newmar in a cat suit. Enough said.
She was the original Catwoman.
Yes, before...
But Eartha Kitt was amazing.
I was going to say, she was the original Catwoman, but it was Eartha Kitt's voice that made Catwoman for that show, as far as I was concerned.
That's because she knew how to purr perfectly. She was perfect.
Julie Newmar had the look. She and basically Eartha Kitt just filled out the rest of the personality.
Hey, Eartha Kitt wasn't no. She wasn't looking.
I'm not saying she wasn't good looking. I am not saying that.
It's like I caught you off guard with that one.
I wasn't over here going, Julie Newmar had the body, but Dog Girl over here could purr. No, I was...
Dog girl. Dog girl could purr.
No, that's not what I was getting at. That's not what I was getting at.
He wasn't calling her Dogly. Oh, God.
How do you think this film would have fared if the original person that auditioned for Brad would have gotten it?
You mean Clifty Young?
Steve Martin.
Clifty. Oh no, God,
Steve
no.
Martin.
I did read about that earlier.
Yeah, how do you think that would have fared? Steve Martin across from... I think this would have come off more comedic.
I just think No.
No?
I mean, I'm not saying that...
Back in the 70s, Steve Martin was ugly. The shit. He really was.
Yeah, but he just wasn't... He just didn't have a look about him that could play both bitch and slightly dominant.
Did you watch movies with Steve Martin in it from the 70s?
God, no.
Okay.
I barely watched any movies from the 70s.
First of all, old man here. Second of all, love Steve Martin. Third of all, you don't have the movie experience to say that he couldn't play that. You've got to go watch some of his movies. The Jerk, specifically. He could have done that.
If they come across as something I have to review, I'll watch it.
But, that being said... I think Barry Bostwick did the Brad role probably better than Steve Martin would have. I think Steve Martin would have put a bit more physical comedy into it.
You also know that Clifty Young was also one of the people that they wanted for Brad originally too, right?
Yes, I know. I
got my own comments about him later.
No, go comment now.
Why? It doesn't make sense to do it now until I'm doing shock treatment.
Well, fine.
Okay. He sings funny. He doesn't have a bad voice. It's just the way he pronounces some things, the way he moves his lips for some things. I'm just like, it's not cohesive. Why?
The face. The face. It was just the face. And knowing that he is...
He's not an ugly guy.
Knowing that he is basically playing an Elseworlds version of Brad in that movie, we'll get to it. Let's get back to Rocky. We'll get to it.
Yeah. Okay. So we had the iconic entrance from Frankenfurter. That heel click, stomping in the elevator while Janet's getting on.
Boom, boom, boom. Pleased to meet you, Yes.
Also, the first and only fourth wall breaking is in that song.
Okay.
It's like, you got caught with a flat, turns to the camera. Well, how about that? Well, babies, don't you panic. God, I just fucking love Tim Curry. I don't think I've ever seen anything that he's been in that he did not deliver a great performance.
I can't... I was just saying that. I was thinking about all the movies that I've seen with Tim Curry. Now, mind you, there are some early films that I haven't gotten to see of his yet. Things that are not necessarily on my Tim Curry radar, so to speak. I've seen him in Legend. I've seen him in It. I've seen him... do his thing in Clue and in this movie, and every single time it's just been
Witch.
The Worst Witch. Yeah, every single time. Oh, was he in Dunstan Checks In as well?
I don't remember.
He was like the bellhop or the guy that owned the place. I think.
No, he was. I know he was in Home Alone too as the bellhop or the manager.
Oh no, maybe I'm thinking of a different thing.
You're not thinking about Home Alone 2?
No. I think that's where he was the hotel manager in Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of Paul Rubens or something from Dunstan Checks In.
Paul Rubens was in Dunstan Check In, but he was like a hunter or something.
I thought he was the bellhop in that particular movie.
No.
I
don't think
so.
Am I
wrong?
No. I think he plays like the hunter or poacher trying to catch the orangutan.
What about Muppet Treasure Island?
That was great. He was great in that.
One of the few reasons for me to watch a Muppet movie. Long John Silver.
That was the only reason for me to watch a Muppet movie. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't, because I do like me some Miss Piggy. She's voiced by a man, but has much more sass than a woman.
Or playing the bad guy in the original Three Musketeers movies. Not the original, but you know what I mean.
Well, the first remake, or reboot, or whatever. But in the Three Musketeer movie, the Disney version.
The one that had Oliver Platt and Kiefer Sutherland and I think Sean Sean something or other. Why am I forgetting
And Chris
his name?
O'Donnell?
Charlie Sheen, not Sean. Charlie Sheen. Sean
Chris
Sheen.
O'Donnell.
Sean Sheen. Chris O'Donnell, yes. I think he played what? I can't remember the character he played.
D'Artagnan.
Does he play D'Artagnan? Okay, yeah, that's
He
right.
does. And then you also had Rebecca De Mornay
Yeah,
as Countess de Winter.
that's a great movie. It is.
Yeah, I did not like the recasting when they did it. Like, Mila Jovovich was just not the Countess de Winter.
There is a role that I don't like him in. There is a role, and it's not his fault that I don't like him in this role. He took over for what's his name, Raul Julia, as Gomez Adams.
Oh, in the Addams Family.
In the Addams Family, and it wasn't him that was really the
one
problem.
I didn't like.
It was just the casting overall that I was just like.
I just think it was a movie that shouldn't have been made after Raul Julia was dead and Angelica Houston was not coming back.
I think that they should have taken care with the casting to cast somebody alongside of him that he could have some charisma with.
Yeah, Daryl Hannah was not the one.
Daryl Hannah definitely was not the one. She kind of looked the part, but definitely not the one.
Oh no, her face was a little bit more droopy than Angelica Houston's.
No, like I said, she looks the part. She just wasn't the one. Like it was just
there was no chemistry.
No chemistry. You get that chemistry between Raul Julia
and Angelica Houston.
Because they both just exuded that sexuality between them. You know,
They
you could see them as a couple.
They exuded that dark energy that could also be family energy. Like, they made it all work.
The former Miss Mermaid All-Star, no, I just forget it. I couldn't get it, you know. Go back to the beach.
Mermaid All-Star.
Go back to the beach, or at least go get the nurse's outfit on and go fight with Uma Thurman.
Okay, she was good.
She was great in Kill Bill. I'm not saying Uma Thurman by any stretch of the imagination is a bad actress. I just said she sucked in that movie. She sucked in that movie. She sucked in that movie.
She sucked in Kill Bill?
No, in Addams Family Reunion.
Uma Thurman wasn't in Addams Family Reunion.
Not Uma Thurman.
Daryl Hannah.
Yeah. Yes. And somehow, look, this is why I always used to love recording in the morning, because once you get me past a certain time of night, my brain starts walking out the door like, hey, look, there's a pillow over there. Fucking lay down, old man.
Oh, look, there's Uma Thurman looking like Daryl Hannah.
All right.
They're both blonde.
Yes.
All right.
Two blonde women. Pick one. They both look the same. I don't know. I don't do that with any ethnicity. I've never done this the whole thing where they're like, I don't know, they all look alike to me. But blondes, for some reason, blondes all fucking look alike to me.
Like, who's a better singer, Britney or Christina? I don't know. They both look the same. Bleh.
Right.
I'm done.
Yes.
Although I choose Britney every time. Christina has a better voice. Britney has a better stage presence.
I would say, okay, you might want to say that Christina has a better voice, but I have heard some things that she's done, and when you take the music out and it's just her singing, and I'm sitting here like, oh, calm the rundown. You got a great voice and you can sing, but when she does that thing where she goes all over the place,
okay, that stuff gets on my nerves.
I'm sitting
like when
here
she's just singing like the main stuff for her music. I love that.
What she's
and
doing,
when she
some
hits a powerful note,
weird vocal solo run and just up down up down up down. I'm sitting here like, hon, you sound like you're choking on water. Stop. What the hell are you doing?
The way you're doing that reminds me of those toys that you like turned over and whatever. It was like,
yes, exactly. Yes, she is the vocal pop version of.
The way I was doing that, it's like, because I used to always do this little number with it, so like, funny, I've actually said the same thing about some porn stars when they're doing things. I'm like, oh, y'all sound like one of those little toys I used to have when I used to like shake it really fast. It's just like, like, how do men find that turn on?
It's not. It is not. Okay. I don't know when that became a thing, when all of a sudden they were like, here's the sound of me choking on this. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
I'm out of the moment. We'll turn this off. Next. So we need somebody quiet here. Can you be quiet? Good. Just don't do that. Don't do that. This is the sound of it hitting my lungs. Anyway. Moving on.
Okay, back to Tim Curry.
Yes, back to Tim Curry. Else. Talking about lungs. Have you seen the lungs on this guy? Anyway.
Sweet Transvestite ends. Frankenfurter invites him to the laboratory where he's up there making Rocky, and Brad and Janet get stripped to the bras and panties,
First
and
of all,
take it upstairs.
we'll go back. Susan Sarandon, even in that ugly underwear, very
Yep.
good looking. Barry
he was
Bostwick
great
standing in
looking.
his tighty whities. Fucking give him
Very
some
good
clothes,
looking.
please.
No,
Yeah.
he had bulge.
The tighty
I'm
white.
sorry.
There's if they could have put him in. I know that this is the 1970s,
It's
so
the
like,
70s.
but they still had boxers back in the 70s.
That's not the type of guy he was. He was more like a 50s modeled man.
But the tighty whities.
Neither one of them dressed for whatever like decade they were in. They were both dressed kind of like they were in the 50s while they were in the 70s.
Look, I didn't throw my underwear on like my pants were going to come off anytime soon, man. I don't know what the hell you're complaining about.
That's true too. What if it was laundry day?
It's laundry day. Don't turn them around, man. I don't want to see the streak. Okay.
I was quite happy seeing the bulge.
Right.
And apparently so is Columbia and Frankenfurter.
Oh, wow.
Don't rush.
I actually kind of had a bit of a crush on Columbia back then.
That doesn't shock me.
She doesn't look like herself in the other movie. Like, really
That's
doesn't.
because she's not wearing all that face paint.
She looked really... Who did she look like? A younger version of the... have you seen... Oh, good. WandaVision.
Yes.
The woman that plays the witch that opposes Wanda at the end of the movie.
Catherine Hahn
Yeah, she looks like a young version of Catherine Hahn in that movie.
in Shock Treatment.
In Shock Treatment, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. I can kind of see it.
She looked like
But you gotta
Catherine
remember-
Hahn if she were in her
You gotta
early
remember,
20s.
she's basically wearing like almost Victorian clown paint in Rocky Horror.
Yes, I remember. Mind you,
So
like I
it's
said, I
that's
had
why
a
she doesn't-
crush on the whole Columbia thing.
There was also a 6-year difference between Rocky Horror and the other. She better have some work done.
Yeah, but she looks younger. She looks younger in the other movie. Like, I don't get it.
I can tell you why she looks younger.
You said she had work done.
No, I don't think she. I actually don't think she had work done, because if she did, she probably should have had them on those boobs.
Okay.
If she was going to be just that slutty, and both she's just as slutty. And let me go ahead and make a mention: she's the only female we see nipples of in Rocky Horror.
And there was a lot of gratuitous butt shots of her in the.
And the other one,
Yeah, like the upskirt shots, like throughout the entire movie. Like
yeah,
she
that's
was.
because her skirt didn't come down far enough at all.
Well, she was like the sexual punchline throughout the entire film. It's like, well, there's no reason to
know.
have the butt here, but okay.
There's a reason to have the butt, but here,
But
have butt, more butt.
I just, weirdly enough, I wasn't as attracted to that character as I was Columbia.
Well, there's probably a thing because Columbia. All right, we're jumping into.
Well,
might as well say we're just
Columbia
jumping
had
into
more
movies.
personality, and they kept trying to shut her up in the other movie.
True.
Every
And then
time she
also,
tried to talk-
Nurse Ansalon was just there to be overtly sexual. Columbia was not like overtly sexual. She just happened to be sexy.
Yes.
She was
Bingo.
a groupie.
Yep. She was
It's
a
like,
Frankenfurter
she was
goofy.
dressed sexy
Groupie? Not goofy.
and everything. Huh?
I said goofy instead of groupie. A Frankenfurter goofy.
A hook.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, Nurse Ansalon, that's what she played in Shock Treatment, was overtly sexual.
Okay.
Like, she was just there to be a sex object.
Yes.
Columbia, on the other hand, was basically another helper who happened to dress in a sparkly corset.
Yes, Rocky was there to be the sex object.
Exactly.
Exactly. And
It's
to
like-
a lesser extent, and actually to a much greater extent, Frankenfurter.
Yes. Everybody in that movie was pretty much a sex object, except for Columbia, Magenta, and Riff Raff.
He was pulling off the lingerie, I'll tell you that.
Who, Tim Curry?
Tim Curry, yeah.
Well, it wasn't his first time in a corset. Like, he did another stage play before Rocky Horror where he was in a corset. I forgot what it's called. It's like The Maids or something like that.
Ah, okay.
But, so, we go up to our laboratory. We're going to our laboratory.
The laboratory.
And then, shut up, Dee Dee.
I'm going to my laboratory. Anyway.
So we go up to the laboratory. Rocky Horror's being made with, rainbow food coloring. And that's the only way I can explain it.
Power!
Just like, wee,
I'm
just
sorry,
more
like,
coloring.
I watched the movie recently, and the first thought in my head was just that, oh god, was it Christopher Columbus or whatever, where he goes, boom, boom, firepower, in the fucking, Night at the Museum movie.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that.
Okay. Because he says more power, and I'm waiting for just, like, this statue to go off in the background. Boom, boom, firepower.
Shit. I keep yawning. Damn. Anyway, so we get there. He does his little song talking about something of Damocles.
The sword of Damocles is hanging over my head. Wait. Okay. I forgot that Rocky came to life before Eddie came back.
Right, because it's not until basically after that we found out Eddie had a lobotomy and part of his brain is in Rocky.
Oh.
Because, yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't realize, I didn't remember that part.
They stated, this is actually more towards after the Medusa section.
Because he made Eddie as well.
No, he did not.
I thought he made Eddie as well.
No, Eddie was a delivery boy.
You sure?
Promise.
So why was Columbia so in love with him?
Because I think he might have been like,
Columbia's
how
boyfriend,
those delivery guys, it's like, how you have those people who are like, they have bands in the garage, but they also have another dead-end job?
Okay, yeah.
Delivering pizza, something like that?
Yeah.
Maybe she was a groupie of his band?
Oh. I thought maybe he was just like the proverbial,
I don't know
like,
how
pizza...
they got there.
I thought he was maybe like the proverbial pizza guy in the transvestite porn movie.
I was just about to say, you're going with porn on this one, ain't you?
He comes up on his motorcycle with a pizza. I got your pizza delivery right here.
But no, if you actually watch the end credits, it'll say he was a delivery boy.
Oh, okay.
Or ex-delivery boy.
Well, maybe I didn't make it past the end credits.
It's during the end credits. Like, it's like the very first people you see because they show a picture and then they put who they were.
Oh, okay.
Did you not get that?
No.
Wait.
I didn't.
Okay, so I've watched two different versions. I've watched the UK version and the US version.
I watched the US version.
There might be a difference in both of them because I watched the UK one today. Because there is a difference in both.
Okay.
Did you know there's a difference?
Well, obviously I've only watched the US version, so maybe I didn't know.
Okay, we'll get to the difference because it's at the very end of the movie. It doesn't have any bearing on the actual story.
Okay.
So, we do all that. Eddie comes out. Eddie gets killed with a pickaxe. Meatloaf's song, Hot Patootie, was amazing. I loved it. It was fun.
Meatloaf is amazing in general. Hot Patootie,
yes.
Bless his soul. I really love his rock and roll.
Me too. So we do that, and then
the rustling of the pages.
Everything starts going through. Everybody starts sleeping with each other.
Right, and this is where we have the I'm going to pretend to be Brad, but no, I'm actually Frankenfurter. Now I'm going to pretend to be Janet, but no, I'm actually Frankenfurter. I'm like, first of all, the fucking lighting is not so bad in these rooms that you couldn't tell that Frankenfurter had just climbed on top of you. This...
With a wig on.
Right. You have to pull off the wig to understand. How does the wig is the only thing that's fooling you?
How do you not see his face of makeup? Because he's always in full drag.
Right. So, the wig is not...
You have that, and then the way that it just worked, just like, Janet, so easily coerced and influenced. It's like, I was saving myself. You promise you won't tell Brad?
Right.
So I'm just like... And then it's like, Brad, I'm just like, okay, I could understand you a little bit more than I could Janet. Janet was trying to save herself from marriage and all that other shit, trying to be a good girl. Brad probably has some closet bi or gay tendencies.
Right.
So this just piqued something that was like laying dormant or primal under him that he had to keep contained. This just gave him a chance to release that.
Did you just slut shame Janet? Oh my god. You slut shamed Janet.
That fucking hoe.
She wanted Rocky too, though. I mean, not for nothing. She was getting ready to sleep with all the guys.
Oh, I'm getting there. Except for Rick Raff. Ew.
I'm sure if she had given the time to his hump, he would have done it. And plus, mind you,
also,
Riff Raff was not that bad looking once you got him into whatever leotard he was and had on in the end.
In the end, he was better, but not great.
Yeah, it wasn't okay. He wasn't exactly great. He was sort of the heroin chic version of Flash Gordon at the very end.
But I mean, back onto Janet. Let's like her crying about her guilt of what she's done to Brad, and then she goes to check the monitor, sees he's done the same thing, and then she's upset. And it's like, bitch, you did it first. And the reason we know you did it first is because you're watching Brad and see Frankfurter laying down right behind him, which means they just got done. Because Brad's smoking his Afterglory cigarette, and she hears Rocky, and then she starts, then she does, touch, yeah, that thing.
That's what I'm saying.
The Touch Me song.
I'm not slut shaming her, but God, she was slutty. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, if you listen, okay, like I've got a theory about the evolution of Janet, or evolution, what she goes through type shit.
Right.
It's like if you listen to her words when she's singing at the beginning of the movie, she enunciates almost every letter. Like you can hear the T at the end of everything. Right. When she starts singing "Touch Me," like her T's become a little more like D's, like we would say them in the South and everything else. Like it's not dirty, it's dirty.
Dirty.
Like DIRDDY.
Right.
So it's like you can tell almost an evolution from like how she was to how she's changing.
I also think she went from being completely repressed to all of a sudden just be sexually liberated.
Yeah.
That being in the span of however long it took them to get into this situation, she went from completely repressed to, hey, is there a gangbang around here somewhere?
7 hours.
7 hours.
7 hours.
Right.
Well, by that time it was probably like maybe 4 or 5, because if you go to the stage floor thing where Rocky's actually talking about when he starts singing, when he gets de-stoned, he's like, I am just 7 hours old.
Okay. So
it's like we have a time span from when Rocky was created till the floor show at least.
Slut and kind of a pedophile. 7 hours old.
Well, I mean...
It's creepy. I mean, it's a fully formed whatever.
Alright, so let's take Rocky. Basically, by the time Janet gets to him, he's a 3-hour-old man.
Right.
He's a 3-hour-old man. So, and he's only got like 2 primal things for him, since he is a man that was just born: food and sex.
Yeah.
Those are his 2 like primal brain needs, because he doesn't talk. He might sing, but that's probably a part of Eddie.
Just the way that he dances around, sort of like ape-like tendencies, almost a Tarzan kind of thing going on there.
All right. So then we get Dr. Scott coming into the building, and then we get our whole Janet.
Dr. Scott.
Janet. Brad. Rookie.
just
that glare.
Because they all find her in the colorful tub with Rocky.
Yes. Janet. Dr. Scott.
Trying to do it under the Jello layers there. I don't know.
Oh, there's another thing I had to say about that. Like when they're singing. When they're singing "Touch Me" and they're like doing the whole Creature of the Night thing. If you notice, nobody is wearing the same thing they're wearing at that moment. Like the stuff when they bend down over her, most of them are wearing it from by the time they enter the castle. But Magenta and Columbia are already in their night clothes when we see them on the monitor watching Rocky and Janet.
Okay. Yep, that's right.
So I'm thinking that maybe the day that they filmed "Touch Me" was probably the same day that they did the openings, like the opening castle stuff.
Okay.
Just based on costumes alone.
You're helping me see a few things that I might not have been paying attention to right now. Mind you, my last viewing of this particular movie was at a drive-in theater back in October.
My last viewing of it was 9 o'clock this morning on an air mattress.
And I wasn't necessarily paying attention to what was going on the screen, because they were also live reenacting it right underneath the drive-in screen.
See, I always thought, like, I might enjoy that, but I'm like, no, when I go to watch a movie, I want to watch the movie.
I think I would have enjoyed it.
Me.
I would have enjoyed it more if it wasn't raining.
Probably.
It's a little tough to enjoy a live performance when they are under a tarp and you're standing in the rain. It's like, you motherfuckers are protected. I'm out here trying to hold a newspaper above my head. It wasn't a newspaper. I had some semblance of an umbrella, but an umbrella only helps if the wind isn't blowing the rain in sideways.
Yeah. Alright, So we go through Touch Me. Then we start, and Dr. Scott's there. Then we find out Eddie's dead because he's been carved up and he's the food.
Cannibalism! Yay! Actually, it's only cannibalism for a few people there because technically Dr. Frankenfurter is a Transylvanian, which in this movie they're trying to explain is another planet.
Oh, Riff Raff also,
Riff-Raff.
Transsexual is the planet.
Transsexual...
Transsexual is the planet. I think Transylvania
I thought it was
the galaxy.
I thought it was Transsexual Transylvania. I thought Transylvania was the planet, and that was the... Transsexual was the place within... From Transsexual Transylvania.
I don't know. Maybe it's their city and state.
Transylvania.
But also, it's like, everybody caught on for a second there that they were eating Eddie because Dr. Scott's like, I want to talk about Eddie. And then Frankenfurter's like, I find that to be a very tender subject.
I wonder how Columbia felt about eating him for the very last time.
Oh, no, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
It's like, you hear her stand up, go out, and scream.
Oh.
Pretty much.
Oh, wait a minute. No, wait. Ah! Anyway.
And then, Frankenfurter reveals that Eddie is under the table, or is the table. Janet runs to Rocky. There's a whole chase. Build your thighs up, Janet Weiss. And then we get into, you're a hot dog. Well, everybody's turned to stone.
Yeah. She reverts.
Everybody's Medusa'd.
Medusa'd.
That's what they every time they put it down, it's like Medusa.
And somehow all end up in Rocky's outfit. When they're...
Oh, you think in the floor show?
For the floor show, yes.
Oh my god, I even wrote this down. I die every single time that, Frankenfurter's walking past each one of them while they're still stoned on the stage and making sure that their finishing touches are done. The only thing he does to Janet is look at her and stick his tongue out and then keeps going to Brad. Or keeps going.
And after the floor show, apparently Janet found the gangbang. More of an orgy.
What?
It was an orgy. It was more of an orgy. They all got in the pool and they were very, touchy-feely.
Let's get it straight. Brad had his face in Rocky's junk. There is one whole little section where he grabs his legs and puts his face there.
I didn't say that anybody else wasn't having a little fun there. I'm just saying that, Janet found the gangbang she was looking for as soon as she was sexually liberated.
Can you look up something else while I bring up something
Sure,
else?
you can look up something else, or I can look up something else.
RKO Pictures, when was it over? Because they're the ones who actually did Rocky Horror, but I already know that they're not a company anymore. Peter Henwood couldn't do the scenes and heels very well. Like, he even had trouble just posing while he was trying to do Roast Him a World.
The original RKO Pictures actually ceased production back in 1957 and was effectively dissolved 2 years later. In 1978, the broadcaster known as RKO General, their corporate heir, launched a production subsidy, RKO Pictures, which revived the theatrical brand with its first releases 3 years later. So they're not set. That RKO Pictures is apparently still up and running.
Oh, huh. That's weird that they came back out in 1978 when this movie came out in 1975.
Right. I'm looking a little further. I'm going a little further into something else. But keep going. Keep going.
All right. So basically, Magenta and Riff Raff are over Frankenfurter doing all this shit. They want to go back home, so they kill Frankenfurter and Rocky and Columbia, and then we have Brad and Janet and Dr. Scott surviving. And the reason we know that people speculated whether they were dead or alive, and I'm like, well, of course they have to be alive, because in the very beginning, when the criminologist has his book open, he turns the pages announcing each one of them, and you see their statement, which means they gave a statement to the police after everything had already ended.
After they woke up out of the orgy haze that was going on within the pool.
Oh, I also found out another reason why they were crawling across the ground and everything, doing so weakened and in a weakened state and everything. For over half of the night, they didn't sleep, and the rest of it, they were under the influence of the transducer.
Yes, or
so once they got out of that, they've been up all night, running around and all this other shit, having sex, doing a floor show.
They were basically
whatever.
Under the influence of transsexual Transylvania laser roofies.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Okay, so here's a little bit of extra information. RKO actually started production back in 1929. They moved through a few years, and like we were saying, that they closed their doors originally back in the 1950s, at which time they started in the 1980s being known by RKO Pictures. By the 1990s, they were sold once again, becoming RKO Pictures LLC. And so they are still current. There are still movies currently being made by RKO Pictures LLC, the most recent of which came back in April of 2015, a movie called Barely Lethal.
Well, at least I wasn't completely wrong.
So they're actually, RKO Pictures LLC is known for the movie Are We Done Yet? And Are We There Yet?
Oh, with Ice Cube.
They did Mighty Joe Young, Milk and Honey.
I like that movie.
Or sorry, Milk Money. Milk and Money? Sorry. I'm like reading this all wrong. But yeah, they've been known for quite a few pictures. They did a lot of pictures in the 80s too. One of the ones that you like, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
I like that movie.
They are responsible, RKO Pictures Inc., before it became RKO Pictures LLC. So, there you go. Moving on.
Oh, I have to give a shout out to the best dancer in the floor show, Dr. Scott, clicking those damn heels in the air and everything.
Somehow doing the can from his wheelchair, just kicking that one leg up.
And then he picks him up and he clicks his heels together, and I was dead. I was fucking dead. I was rolling in here.
At that point, I would have been in the audience just going, Dr. Scott! Anyway, go on.
Hey, so that pretty much ends it. Oh, and here's where the difference in the UK and the US version comes in. There's an extra song at the end where they're crawling across the thing, and it's called Superheroes. Brad sings a couple lines, Janet sings a couple lines, and then we go back up to fade where we go to the criminologist.
Right.
So that's the only difference between the UK and the US version.
So,
is an extra song.
Now that we've gotten to the end of the description of the film...
Yeah, but I also have some other notes.
You've got some other notes?
I do. Did you notice everyone was praising Susan Sarandon for actually doing like the whole floor show bit because she was actually sick and actually shaking with fever, but kept pushing through it. And there was a lot of other sicknesses too because there was no heating in the building where they were doing all the pool shots.
Which would explain the high beams even through that thick bra.
Huh?
You were talking about nipple shots?
Oh, I was talking...
She was kind of...
I didn't see hers.
She was kind of pushing against the bra. You didn't see that?
I didn't...
Okay.
No. All I noticed is, like, during the floor show...
That was a heavy-duty mamma jamma.
Coming right up over hers. Like, her corset. And it's just like, they were so bright and pink.
That was a heavy-duty mamma jamma, though, let me tell you. That bra that she was wearing, like, very conservative.
It was maternity.
It's like, that is a chastity belt for breasts, is what that is.
It's a chastity. Alright, so I gotta ask.
Yes?
What is your favorite scene from the movie?
My favorite scene from the Rocky Horror Picture Show has to be the whole Hut Batootie thing. The whole scene with Eddie driving around, scaring the shit out of all the Transylvanians, and Columbia just, yeah! And even the bloody massacre of Eddie at the end. You know? Yeah, that was my favorite. And, you know, basically him going after Rocky a little bit too, and him just kind of holding on for dear life. No, you know.
Mine's a toss-up. I like the slutty Janet touch me scene.
Okay.
But maybe I just like the muscle man that she's touching on. I don't know. But anyway, and then the whole floor show. Because I keep laughing at Rocky trying to walk around in heels. It's like, I thought the music was good for like the whole transition from like the first set of music to the Don't Dream It, Be It, and then the whole Rose Tint My World.
I think that the best scene in the movie by far, though, is the initial introduction of Frankenfurter when he comes down in the elevator.
That scene was iconic.
That was it's the best scene in the movie. It's iconic for a reason. It's the one that everybody that has ever tried to step into the heels of Frankenfurter has tried the hardest to recreate, including Anthony Head from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
He's done it. He also had Amber Benson, who played Tara. They had her doing the whole "Touch Me" song in bra and a slip, and I was just like, "Oh, girl, brave."
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't like it quite as much.
I did not think she did that well with that song.
No,
I did not think she did well with that song.
Amber Benson, as much as I kind of liked her for the show, it was just sort of... I don't think acting was her career, personally.
I liked her for the show, and it's like, we'll bring this up again later when we do Buffy with Friends, but like my main thing was like they wanted a musical episode. She was good for like carrying on with Anthony Head during that, because they were probably both the best singers on the show.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
It's like, but as far as like, I like Tara as a character, but she kind of got lost a lot of times.
I mean, Anthony Head is a singer in general. Like he's got an amazing fucking voice.
I know.
I can't really.
Girl has swooned.
I can't really say that for the rest.
Oh, I'm not saying that for the rest. I mean, I think Sarah Michelle Gellar had a better voice than she gives herself credit for, but I don't think she's a great singer. Emma Caulfield surprised me with how well she sang. Nicholas Brendan, he said, for his, he didn't have to be a great singer to play Xander.
Right.
And it didn't have to come off as a great singer to do his singing.
And a lot of what he was doing was just talk singing.
Yeah. It's like, and Allison Hannigan can't sing.
You're forgetting Spike. James Marsters.
Oh, he's a good singer.
James Marsters definitely Billy Idoled it up there.
Yeah. But he also had a band outside of Buffy. Right.
There was only one other person but it wasn't in Buffy. It was the guy that, in Angel. One of the main oppositions.
He played Lorne.
Lorne. No, not Lorne. The other guy. From Wolfram and Hart. The guy that lost his arm or whatever.
Christian Kane.
Yeah, Christian Kane. There we go.
He's a good singer.
Yeah, he is.
But Andy Hallett was no slouch either.
No, he was really good. He had a hell of a set of fucking pipes. Yes, may he rest in peace. Okay.
God, so many people.
So, turning it up to 11. On a scale from 1 to 11, what do you rate this film?
11.
Yeah, I can't go lower than a fucking 11 for this fucking film. I've watched it way too many times and enjoyed it in way too many versions than... Not the UK version.
This is the first... if you can get your hands on it, because I got the Blu-ray that had both versions, you can choose between which version you want to watch. I was like, or at least go watch the superhero scene so you know what I'm talking about. It's not that... It's like, it's a good ending song.
Right.
To go with it. But, yeah, this is the first movie we actually given an 11 to.
Oh, yeah. This is the first one that we've given an 11 to.
This is the first one I think we've gotten above a 9.
And mind you, we're talking, this is cult classic territory because this movie really bombed when it hit the theaters first.
It did. Like, they brought it out for the daytime, and then they, within a week, took it off.
Due to subject matter...
Then they just did 2 midnight showings.
So due to the subject matter, it was actually either censored or banned in certain areas of the world.
I can believe it.
I think in South Africa it was, like, completely banned.
It was probably completely bland over in, those Middle East places.
And thanks to the charismatic performance of Tim Curry in general, a lot of these people actually made it on to do other things. Or I wouldn't say made it on to do other things, but, like, do you think Susan Sarandon would have been quite as well known if she wasn't Janet in this movie?
No. This movie is what started building her career.
Right.
We'll get into that in a minute, though.
We will. Moving on. And we're going to go ahead and take a very quick moment to let our friends from other podcasts speak for themselves. And when we come back, we will talk about something else altogether.
This is Two Chicks Talking Flicks, where we review movies. We try to dig deeper and go more in depth.
And profound for me.
Yeah, for me... I'm just like, what? We even bring up relevant topics.
I remember from Punky Brewster that you don't go inside the fridge.
And we're here to have those tough conversations.
Mm-hmm. And she was wearing a white dress, which
was yellow.
Huh?
It was yellow. So if this sounds like the podcast for you, please enjoy. New episodes every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Matt.
We are the hosts of the Strange and Beautiful Book Club. On the Strange and Beautiful Book Club, Matt and I share our adventures discovering forgotten movies, television shows, and books in the science fiction, horror, and fantasy genre.
Not necessarily good movies, though.
Oh, certainly not. We love a good, bad movie. The quirkier, the funnier, the more campy, the better.
But we talk about some classics, too.
Of course, we can't ignore our favorites like Highlander or the 1990s vampire cop television show, Forever Night, which we are currently covering 1 episode at a time.
As if I could forget.
Oh, hush. You love every minute of it.
Come join us every week as we discover, discuss, and dissect fantasy, horror, and sci-fi genre classics. New episodes release every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
So remember, sometimes the strangest things are the most beautiful too.
So be who you are and love what you love. Until next time, friends.
Bye!
You know, sometimes in life you just have to deal with commercials, and that was what we just did. Commercials. Little commercials in the middle of the podcast. Occasionally, at some point, we might have to just get to the point where we put the commercials out either at the beginning, you know, like, hey, you want to listen to us, you got to listen to all this first, and that'll make people immediately turn off. Or we can put them at the very end, like, this is the end of our podcast, we played our music, and if you stick around, you might actually hear some commercials, so people can be like, I hear the music, we need to escape now, because the commercials are coming, you know.
Escape.
And, we're not going to talk about the commercials anymore. So we got into the second half of the podcast here, and we're going to sit down and another synopsis, because I didn't fucking write one. I watched this movie much more recently, like the beginning of the week. We are talking about
Shock Treatment,
which I am in desperate need of. I need shock treatment. Give me
from
shock
1981.
treatment.
And I wrote a synopsis just in case you had things going on, and then you did.
I did have things going on, and then I didn't do what I was supposed to.
Well, shit happens. All right.
Ew, no, don't let it happen. Moving on.
Brad and Janet, now married and having returned to Denton, find Denton being turned into a huge TV studio town. Brad is taken in for treatment for being an emotional cripple, while Janet is sucked into superstardom.
This movie itself was actually way ahead of its time, because it's talking about reality television decades before reality television really became a thing.
Reality television?
Reality television. Yes,
television.
My tongue doesn't always work with me. I got a big tongue, I'm sorry. They only complain when I try to talk. Anyway.
Alright, so, returning, we have Richard O'Brien as Dr. Cosmo McKinley, Patricia Quinn as Dr. Nasha McKinley, Nell Campbell as Nurse Anselong, Charles Gray, who was the criminologist in the last movie, as Judge Oliver Wright, Jeremy Newson as Ralph Hapshat, not Hapshit.
It's like a hat full of shit, but it's a Hapshat.
I think that's it. Well, apparently we have, Barry Humphries, who was apparently one of the Transylvanians in Rocky Horror.
Right.
As Bert Schnick. Also, we have Jessica Harper now playing Janet Majors, was Weiss, who is also in Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh, yes.
I think she plays Phoenix.
We haven't talked about Phantom of the Paradise yet. That's next week.
I thought we brought it up.
I don't think we brought up Phantom of the Paradise yet, did we? This is a 3-part thing. This is the late night triple feature picture show. Yeah. We're supposed to have a third film coming out next week, which, for the third film, we're not recording the film. We are recording an episode about the film that we are going to sit down and talk with our good friends at Clockout Films, who are like, I love that movie. Yes, let's do it. I know at least one of them is on board. I haven't heard from the other one yet, so we'll figure it out.
I think he likes to just leave I'm here.
I am here. There are things
I've seen this.
We shall watch. We shall.
Yes. But Janet and Brad have been recast with Jessica Harper and then Cliff DeYoung, who was also one of the original people wanted for Brad. Yeah. Rindy Robeck is Macy Struthers. That's her name. Ruby Wax is Betty Hapshat, formerly Monroe. Darlene Johnson is Emily Weiss. Manning Redward is Harry Weiss. So we finally meet Janet's parents.
Okay.
And then Betsy Brantley is Neely Pritt. She's an interviewer with a lisp.
I will say that Janet's parents are the most unlikable fucking people.
I agree.
Absolutely deplorable people.
I agree.
I really hope that her father accidentally trips and the lawnmower backs over him, kind of. I don't like it.
It's one thing I do have to bring up is the opening song, Denton is talking about how they have a tolerance for the ethnic races, and then Janet's dad's a racist.
Oh yeah, he's a racist, a homophobe. He is all the stuff that you're not supposed to be.
He's all the phobes.
He's all the phobes. All of it.
In this movie, Ralph has left Betty for one of his co-anchors. Mary. Yeah, Macy. Her name is Macy. But you come into this big ass studio, and the reason that all this took place in a studio was because there was a media strike going on at the time, so they couldn't film anything outside.
Right,
They had to film everything inside.
Didn't they film it in the UK, like in a studio? Mm-hmm. And they
in
realized that it was cheaper to just do it there. So they I think they changed the styling of the film too. Like they made it a television studio kind of movie. Of that. So
yeah,
in the opening scene, I noticed a couple of things that I was thinking about. Have you ever watched? Oh God, now I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. Not the movie, the TV show. It's a game show with Howie Mandel.
Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal. That whole scene.
That guy in the heart.
Yeah, he's in the heart. Him watching over everything. It feels like the banker from Deal or No Deal is just watching over everything.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the reason that they had to change some of those ideas that Richard Bryan originally had, was because of the media strike going on. So they had to film in England, or in Europe, I think it was England, in an actual TV studio. And that's why, Denton's being taken over by TV, basically.
Denton is being taken over by Nazi McDonald's, is what they're doing.
Where the hell is Denton? Is it in Texas?
I think
Ohio?
Denton is in Ohio. Was it Ohio? Maybe Texas. I'm not sure where Denton.
There's probably two Texas. I meant two Texases.
It's Dentons. Denton, Texas. The city in Texas.
It's a city in Texas?
Yes, it's within the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So we were brought in, and they're all singing a song about how great Denton is. You know, it has no pretension.
In Denton, you are either part of the reality television program. At this point, the entire town, you're either part of the program or you're part of the audience.
Yeah, which I found really, I don't know, I just found it unrealistic. Well, I guess it's not supposed to be, but still.
I felt like Denton had become a religious cult town, revolving around a fast food icon. So it's what would you do if Ronald McDonald one day decided to start his own cult and then bring them all to a separate little town and record everything? This is Denton. Denton.
You have no pretension. I can't lie. When they sing that, and it's like that drum beat right between Denton, and then you have no pretension.
Right. So I don't know if did you listen to the very beginning of the song? Not when they started singing, but there's a little riff.
Time warp anywhere in there.
There's a little riff in just the instrumental portion leading up. While they're putting everything together, there's a little riff that they definitely pulled from the Time Warp song.
I didn't hear it.
You didn't hear it? It even sounded like, let's do the Time Warp. And
nope.
They didn't sing it. It's just the instrumental part. And then they went into Denton.
I just didn't hear it. All I heard was Denton, playing.
I am going to create a torture device where I only play the instrumental till you fucking hear it.
Thank you, Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway?
I'm sorry, Annie Hathaway.
Annie Hathaway? Wait, what? Huh?
That's her real name. There was something I watched on Facebook, and it had her and Rumor Wilson? No. Rebel Wilson.
Rumor
in
Wilson,
some movie.
Rumor Wilson. Go ahead.
What the fuck?
I have no idea.
You're over there doing some Adele shit with Rumor Wilson.
I'm over here shaking my chesticles. Look, I'm a man of a certain size. I got boobs, all right? It's just something that comes along with it. Chesticles. Chesticles.
Oh, chesticles. I think you said pectacles. I was like,
pectacles.
The fuck?
I got pectacles under my spectacles. Right above my nutsicles. Anyway.
Your nutsicles?
My nutsicles. They were quite cold earlier. They were quite cold earlier on. I was outside, so yeah. It's not Massachusetts nutsicles. Which, by the way, is not a pop anybody's going to eat. Well, okay, not any, but some people won't eat it.
I thought people eat. Wait, you eat Pops? Isn't Pops soda?
Do I eat Pops? I might eat Pops. Do I eat Nutsticles? No, I do not eat Nutsticles. So, Pops, yes. Nutsticles, no.
Just leave the Nutsticles for me.
Fair enough. Now.
Okay. Back to it. I still didn't hear Time Warp in the beginning. Sorry.
That's fine. I heard it. I can't forget it. It's there.
Are you sure you heard it?
I am definitely sure that I heard it.
Are you sure you're not hearing things?
I'm very sure I'm not hearing things.
Because I didn't hear it, and I watched the movie once, 2 weeks ago, Then when you brought that up, I watched the beginning again just to try to hear it. Didn't hear it. And I watched it for a third time today. Try to listen for it. Didn't hear it.
It's like a little instrumental sample.
Like, so little it's not there?
Zip it. Oh, zip it. Shut up, you. Oh, my God. You're killing me. You're killing me.
Am I?
All right, look, I'm 47, but dementia isn't setting in quite yet. Thank you.
Alzheimer's?
What? I forgot. What is
Alzheimer's? Oh, see? Maybe you just have CRS.
What's that, Chris?
Can't remember shit.
No, I can remember that. It was definitely a little instrumental version of Time Warp. It was inspired. And you know that's going to happen. There's some of these songs that sound a little bit like the other songs. It's going to happen because it was composed by the same guy.
I know, Richard O'Brien. But it's like, I can hear like, where Denton kind of sounds like, it would kind of cross over with Time Warp. I can hear where it kind of would, because they are like a similar type of breed of song.
Right.
And then like, all right, I'll get to the other one in a second because it's coming up.
By the way, Bert creeps me out.
Huh?
Bert creeps me out.
Bert, God, I don't like him. I wrote this down, and it's fucking true. He looks like a love child if Willy Wonka and the Child Snatcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang got together. I was thinking
he looks like what would happen if Paul Rubens had sex with Willy Wonka, and this is what happens.
I'm still thinking the Child Snatcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang with Willy Wonka.
Okay, possibly.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
It's been a while since I've watched Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. You've got a whole Disney thing going with you? You've watched so much
Chitty
Disney?
Chitty Bang Bang is actually not Disney.
I thought Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was done by Disney.
Nope, it is MGM, I think.
Is it not under the Disney umbrella right now?
I don't think it is. I think it's still under MGM.
Okay. I could have sworn it was under...
I cannot watch it on Disney Plus.
Okay.
But then again, there are some regions who can watch Buffy on Disney. They can watch Rocky Horror Picture Show on Disney Plus. But here in America, we cannot.
Okay.
Here in America.
I could have sworn Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was a fucking... I guess not. I think that's probably... You know why I had Chitty Chitty Bang Bang stuck in my head as like a...
As a Disney movie?
Because of
Dick Van Dyke?
Because of Dick Van Dyke and how much the female lead kind of looked like Julie Andrews from Mary Poppins at the time.
What was her name? Sally Ann House?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she did look a lot like
Julie Andrews back in like Sound of Music days.
But I think that might be why my brain is going, that has got to be Disney. It looks so like
Disney.
Very
Disney-X too.
It smells like Disney. I think
but
there's a dyke in it like Disney.
A dyke?
It's a Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah. Oh, God. The only time Dick and Dyke will ever be together.
Dick Van Dyke. You gotta add the. You can't just say Dick Dyke. It's just Dick Van Dyke.
Dick Dyke.
Deek.
But
anyway.
Deek on a steak.
Deek on a steak.
I mean, but let's face it, Disney would not have had that. Oh God, where were they from? It wasn't Romanian. Fuck, Bulgarian. They were Bulgarian.
Right.
Disney wouldn't have had a Disney Bulgarian woman running around in a teddy.
Okay, fine.
But it's true.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Not for a kid movie.
No.
But I mean, they did have Esmeralda as the first pole dancer in a Disney cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, they press the envelope. Push the envelope, not press the envelope.
Yeah, they press
it. You press the envelope to seal the envelope. You push the envelope to go beyond the envelope.
All the envelopes.
And sometimes you push the envelope hard enough, it folds in half, and it's two envelopes in one.
It folds hard enough?
It folds hard enough. Anyway. Go ahead, moving on.
Now we're back to Brad and Janet, and I could see where, even though they are kind of recast, they are recast, which the reason Barry Bostwick did not want to come back. Susan Sarandon, her star power was rising, so she wanted more money, and it wasn't in the budget to give to her at the time, right. So they had to go with somebody else. I could actually see where this would be a sequel, or could be, because as much as their personalities have changed, that could be a result of what happened to them from the Transylvanian, like dealing with the Transylvanians.
Right. So now
a little bit of it, like that, like because Brad was not the way he is now, because now he's like completely disheveled and all this other stuff. It's like you got Jessica Harper. She has a great singing voice, but her singing voice is much deeper than Susan Sarandon's.
Yeah, and honestly, Jessica Harper is a favorite of mine, so the fact that this sucked as hard as it did,
I won't say it sucked. I just say I enjoy it differently. I'm not gonna say it's an 11.
like
I enjoy it differently.
Earlier on this year, we did Suspiria, and so I watched both versions. You're looking at me fucking like I have 6 heads. Suspiria is 1977 is probably one of Dario Argento's best fucking films. It revolves around a coven of witches that basically hide out in a ballet company. You're looking at me like I got 6 heads, but she starred in that. She was the lead actress in Suspiria. So that's one of my favorite films of hers. Like I said, she's been a favorite for me for a while.
This is the first movie I've seen her in.
That's sad. Jessica Harper's really good.
Like I said, she doesn't have she has a good singing voice. She's a good actress. And it's just one of those things, like her voice is much deeper as a songstress than Susan Sarandon's. Then again, poor Susan Sarandon was always told by her dad that she couldn't sing, so she was actually terrified to do Rocky Horror. But
so
she pulled it out.
You haven't seen movies like Minority Report or The Boys, or sorry, actually it's not The Boys, it's just Boys. Mr. Wonderful, okay, Stardust Memories, Pennies from Heaven, none of that?
Nope, still looking at you like you might have grown an extra head.
Phantom of the Paradise, you haven't watched that yet for next week?
No, I'm watching that next week.
All right, you'll watch that, and she will slowly become a favorite. Jessica Harper.
I mean, I won't go that far.
This movie by itself, okay. Well, let's before we get into it. This movie by itself is not necessarily a bad film. I enjoyed it for what it was. If you take it and you make this Brad and Janet not related to the other Brad and Janet, and you just make it its own fucking film, it's interesting to watch. It's an interesting commentary, on television and society in general.
Unfortunately, I can't take it as a separate film, not to be a sequel of the other. All because we have Brad and Janet, although not played by the same people, still same people. Same characters. You got Ralph Hapshat and Betty Monroe, or Betty Hapshat. Both in this movie. It's like got characters who were in the original one who are in this one.
You have a large portion of the original cast within this movie reenacting sort of an Elseworld for Brad and Janet. Or technically Brad and Janet the Aftermath. So this is what happened to Denton. This also insinuates that Brad has a twin.
Right. But it's like, that's what I was saying. Like, if we look at this, like, this is the effects on Brad and Janet's mentality and such, like their drastic changes from the people they were.
Like I said, Janet was this, that you were talking about her being manipulative. She is cult cannon fodder. She is the kind of person that would fall into a cult without a thought.
Right. She's easily manipulated. She's very easily influenced.
Very easily.
And I was continuing that with this. Like, first I gotta ask, why are they singing the advertisements of kitchen appliances or appliances in general? And what the fuck is a micro digital awaker besides an alarm clock?
Right. They had to find something to rhyme with that. It had to rhyme. Well, we can't call it alarm clock. We can't call it alarm clock because then we're going to have to bring your cock into the kitchen, and we can't do that. This is a different kind of movie. Okay.
That's okay, because Cliff DeYoung can keep his cock with him.
Yes, that's fine.
I don't want it.
Cliff
but it's like, I can't lie. It's like, I'm sitting there just belting out in my car because this music is living rent-free in my mind. Just, micro digital awaker. Just belting it out.
Bitchin'. This is a really good soundtrack. I would buy the soundtrack.
Oh, you don't have to. Just go on a music site and download it. Like if you have like Spotify or YouTube Music.
Shush you. One of the things, I don't know if you've been over here, if you've seen this, the left-hand side of my screen over here, where my arm has disappeared off of the screen. I'm saying this because we're talking on video, and I'm putting my arm out to point at something. She can't see what I'm pointing at. She can't see my arm.
It's like I see like where your arm turns from the elbow to the forearm.
Over here on my bookcase, I have a shitload of DVDs, Blu-rays, blah, blah, blah. I am planning to start collecting movies along with their vinyl soundtracks.
Good luck getting shock treatment.
I'm a collector, and it's out there. I've seen it over at my local Bull Moose. Shout out to Bull Moose. Fantastic
What's a
fucking
Bull
place.
Moose?
Bull Moose is the local store. It's they have a chain of probably about 10 stores now. They've expanded a little bit, but it is the local music, movie, and video game and books. It's a media store. They're both new and used media.
Yeah, see, I'd go in there for their video games because I need some PS2
They have
games.
everything.
How you doing?
They have everything. They have PS1 games. You know?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Ooh.
You've got to come up and visit. Get the hell out of Georgia. Come up for a little bit.
I will during Halloween. Like
Okay.
during October.
You got to do the Salem thing. I'll take you to
Yeah,
both Salems.
There's 2 Salems?
Well, there's Salem, New Hampshire, where Bull Moose is, and then there's Salem, Massachusetts, where all the witchy witches live.
Oh, so I need to move up there since I'm a witchy witch.
Well, yeah, I mean, the regular witches don't live there, but the witchy witches live there.
What's the difference? Oh, wait. You got some that are dressed up for Halloween witches. Those are witchy witches.
Right.
Then you got regular witches who like live everywhere else.
Right. Mind you, while they do have plenty of nice things to visit down in Salem, Salem is no longer the Wiccan coven that it used to be. You know, this isn't the central area for the witches. This is the ones that go down there in the pointy hats and stand next to Samantha from Bewitched. They have her statue down there.
Do they really?
They have a statue for Samantha from Bewitched, yes.
Oh my god.
You would love that. And they have a massive black craft store.
Black craft?
It's the clothing line, Black Craft. Look it up.
Never heard of it.
Look
I'm
it
gonna have
up.
to Look it up.
It's all inverted pentacle wear, you know. It's
Look it up.
the Satanist
Inverted.
shit. Inverted pentacle.
No, thank you.
Uh-huh.
I don't do evil shit.
It's where
So I had to
they
get a tattoo of my back covered up because somebody fucked
it's
it up.
where they
and put
try
it
to
upside down.
intersect Christianity with witchcraft. It's paganism
It
and
don't work.
Christianity don't mix.
Nope, they don't mitch.
They don't mitch.
They don't mitch at all.
They don't. There's no way to
Mitch.
mismatch it. So
Mitch.
let's start talking about the actual movie. Move in. Let's go.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
also another callback to Rocky Horror in Bitchin' in the Kitchen, and where she says, "Brad, I'm glad."
Oh, good lord.
Where she's like, "And Brad, I'm glad to say, is on his way." And that's when she starts singing, "Micro Digital Awaker."
Oh my god.
I just want to know who came up with that word for an alarm clock. I really do.
Richard himself. He's the one that came up with it.
Still, it's like, sir, how did you get to call it a micro digital awaker?
He
Like, how did
probably
you come to that
he
conclusion?
probably had alarm clock in there and was trying very hard to find something that went with alarm clock, and he's like, "Oh wait, micro digital awaker."
Because it awakes you, and
And
it's micro
then
digital.
the person sitting next to him, listening to him try to create this song, is like, "Did you have a stroke, hon? Are you okay?" No, it just rhymes with this part a little bit better than alarm clock suck my cock. You know, it doesn't
You know,
fit here.
I don't even know what he is.
What?
Richard O'Brien. Like, I've heard he's trans, I've heard he's gay, bi, I've heard he's everything. Because I've seen him dressed womanly.
Hey, I mean,
But still.
you're allowed to take a little bit from every seasoning pot. Do what you want.
Oh, I'm not judging him. I'm just curious about him. So, yeah, we got that. Brad, I'm glad. Yep. Jessica Harper, much deeper singing voice. Also, she used a lot more grit when
Yeah.
singing some things.
I
like it. It's just different for Janet.
I genuinely was off-put. I was off-put by the deep bass of her voice compared to how high-pitched Brad was singing. Like,
Their singing did not go together as a cohesive whole.
No. And she had
Because
some
it's like-
points where she hit high notes. But for the most part, she went, deep.
Like when she's looking for a trade.
Like, honey, are you taking testosterone in between takes here?
Honey, you sound like you swallowed some testosterone pills mixed with hot sauce.
Sweetie, in the middle of that one note, your balls dropped. I don't know what to tell you here. Try
Like
again.
That one note, your balls dropped, and the next thing you know, she hits another high note. Oh, how'd she get them back in so quick?
Your balls dropped, we kicked them back in place. We're good. Don't
got
worry.
somebody there, like when it's all like top shots, you got somebody underneath the camera, like when she hits low, then it's like, oh, there they go.
We kicked them
Back
so
up.
hard, your nutstickles are hanging off your ears like earrings.
We're back to that. Nutsticles.
Yeah, just little recall joke.
Oh God. So they take them back, take Brad back. 'Cause supposedly he's an emotional cripple now. And Janet's in there talking to the brother sister Dr. Cosmo and Nation McKinley. Magenta and Riff Raff.
Oh, wait,
because they still have the same incest shit.
We went over my favorite scene with Brad, where they're all clapping during the Denton song, and he just goes, like, way out of tune with everybody else.
He's so out of tune. I have that written down here, too.
It's just like...
He is so offbeat than everybody else. It's like, that's not like Brad at all, either.
Like a good 3 seconds off of the next clap. Like, he claps, and then all of a sudden they're clapping again. It's just, wow.
Just like,
Brad.
They clap, and next thing you know, he's like, he claps, and Jed is just like, really?
Were you clapping with them, or did you find a fly? Just...
So, did you get it? Did you get it?
It's just... I don't know.
Are you a ninja?
He felt out of place. Okay. So now he's strapped to a chair with a...
Well, let's also not forget, first, it's like, how did Janet not notice that man stick a needle in Brad's neck and then push him over?
I have no idea.
Right beside her.
Well, she is a little self-involved at this point. Or starting to get self-involved.
Well, she's starting to get self-involved, and, she's, I noticed she has her head down, but still, out of your peripheral, you would see shit.
Right.
And then it's like, and then here comes Nurse Ants along, showing her booty to take the patient back. And this is where it got a little weird for me, because when Little Nell starts talking in this first bit, she's like, don't start it till tomorrow. She sounds country, like a little country lady.
Yes.
Like her voice just comes out like a little old country lady. Then later you hear the Australian come back when she's talking and singing.
Right, but they constantly try to talk over her or shut her up throughout the movie. Until you get a little closer to the end and she talks a bit more.
Does she?
Yeah, she does. I mean, she gets full-on lines in different songs. But when she physically tries to talk...
But when she's trying to talk...
They're like, yeah, just go do this.
It's one thing. When she has solos, it's fine.
They cut off her dialogue, but when she sings, they leave her be.
They're like, that's your true talent. Shh, stay in your lane.
Right, right.
But when you try to talk, you don't know what you're doing. Just give him the pills and Jello.
Right, right. Shake the booty, go give him some pills. That's all you have to do.
Pills and Jello. That's all you've got to do. Show your ass, pills and Jello.
And jelly.
APJ.
Jelly. If you go by the Beyonce version of jelly.
Oh God, must be jelly because jam don't shake. Oh, also Little Nell, like her character in this movie seems a little bit more aloof.
She's a little bit more aloof and kind of a little more, and we're not doing the slut shaming again, but a little more slutty.
Is she? I mean, the way she dresses and the way she presents it. Yeah,
the way she dresses, the way she presents it, and then she goes to bed with, I'm guessing, the Igor of this film, the guy that she was into.
The other doctor guy?
The other doctor guy.
Nurse man?
Only one that ends up in lingerie at that point.
Her?
Yeah, I don't think anybody else was in lingerie in that scene. And that whole scene...
For the lullaby scene?
Yeah.
Patricia Quinn, Nation McKinley. She was in white lingerie under her robe. Like, you could see it because the robe was open.
Right, but she was mostly fully dressed.
You could see the full-on teddy.
Mostly.
But it's like Little Nell's, Nurse Ansalong. Hers was black and, it was mostly covering everything. It's not like everything was full-on out.
Maybe it was because I was trying to reconcile the fact that this was actually Columbia from the original movie, because they don't look anything alike.
It's like, I can see where they look alike, but mainly it's because of the makeup and lighting.
Exactly. Like I said, they don't look anything alike to me. It's just...
It's like I deal with a lot of makeup, so maybe that's why.
I know you're the same person, but maybe it's because they put your makeup on with a shotgun in the original film. I don't know. You don't remember the makeup shotgun that Homer had in The Simpsons?
I didn't watch a lot of The Simpsons.
Look, I made a makeup shotgun, Marge, and just... No!
Damn! That sounds brutal. That sounds fucking brutal.
Right, just put your makeup on with a shotgun.
One thing I did not like about Damn, what's her name?
What was
Jessica
her name?
Harper? Yeah, Jessica Harper.
Jessica Harper.
She uses a lot of vibrato where it's not needed for me when she sings.
What do you mean?
It's like in almost every single line she sings, where you take a note and hold it and squiggle it, kind of in your voice.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't like her as a. I think she was a good actress in the film, but her singing just left me feeling a little. Anything that she sang in, like her part was just like, I can't deal with this. Please stop.
Is she singing Phantom of the Paradise?
I don't know. I haven't watched it yet.
I thought you had. That's why you wanted me to watch it so
No.
bad.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've been wanting to watch it. This is my excuse to watch it.
Oh.
This is my excuse.
God damn it. God damn it, Chris. I thought you didn't sing it. I meant sing it. What the fuck am I saying?
I didn't sing it. I sang it real good. Yep. Sang it real good.
Oh, fuck it.
Okay.
Jessica, she's just a lot too much vibrato for me. And some things she does is just way too low. Like, especially like when she's in the whole, like, at first I was gonna like rat on the song Looking for Trade and how she's portrayed, but then I realized it's a dream sequence. I was like, that's not really fair.
Okay. You sure it's not fair? Might be completely fair.
Then we get at some point before all the superstardom, Janet goes to visit her mom, gets a Chinese dress because her mom made it and said, I saw it in the Eastland store.
Which, this is one of the things that happened throughout the entire film, that like we had cultural appropriation, we had some hate speech in here. There was some stuff in here that like you couldn't get a movie like this made right now.
But it's like, you know, I would put in here Chinese cultural appropriation with Janet's mom and clothing. It's like, damn, y'all are racist, but you're taking things from other people?
I think, though, honestly, as much as I didn't like Jessica Harper as Janet within this movie, I think she delivered my favorite line of the entire fucking film.
Please tell me the line.
You know the line. You know the line. Hi, Brad. I've just come to tell you how fabulous I am. When she
my God, I hated that fucking line.
That was my favorite line in the entire film.
I love the line, but I hated her because of it.
But that's the point.
I hate Janet.
But that's the point where you realize that she has been completely just brainwashed by the cult of DTV.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, Brad, I just came to show you how fabulous I am.
You're now watching DTV. D.
I want to say that this during that section, because I think that's where they sing Shock Treatment.
Okay.
No, that's later.
That's later.
Yeah, that is later.
That's a bit later.
Yeah. Because now we're at the man song, and I was like, it would be shunned today. I was like, but you got to remember, it's a different era, but still.
Yeah.
And talking about Mexicans and gay men, the way he did. And then everyone cheered when Janet's mom said he doesn't like Mexicans.
Right. So remind yourself though, this is a guy singing the man song as if he were a man in the 70s from Texas. So that level of hatred in Texas in the 70s, not unheard of.
I mean,
very
like
close-minded.
It's when you watch this film, or if you watch this film, I'm gonna have to put a big if there. It's one of the things you have to take in mind. It's a different era, different time. Whenever all this stuff was made, the stuff that they are saying was appropriate for the time, or was allowed to be said at the time. I won't say it's appropriate because I don't think you should be calling people slurs and stuff. But at the time, it was very different.
Right.
It's like, that's one thing I hate when people want to sit there and cancel a film and all this other stuff. It's like, you have to remember these are put out at a different time. If you don't like it, just don't watch it.
There's a lot of movies that you can say that about, though. There's a lot of movies.
I mean, yeah, but it's like, okay, I mean, spoiler alert for the movie Fury. My fiance's ex couldn't watch the movie Fury after 2 kids got killed. But during the time of war, kids unfortunately were killed. I think they were dealing with World War II in Fury.
Right.
It's like, it's, you know, kids got killed. She couldn't watch the movie after that. I watched it just fine. It's like, you got to realize it's a time period piece, and you got what period you're dealing with.
Right, exactly.
It's like, you just got to realize the content of, like, the time it was made or the time period that they're dealing with in a movie.
I haven't seen Fury.
So, you have not seen Fury?
No, I have not.
It's on Netflix. Go watch it. It's good.
Sounds like a film that you need to make me watch for this.
And I am.
See, there you go.
Do it.
I'm going to make you watch Dirty Dancing. You're going to make me watch Fury. At least 2 kids don't die in my movie. A couple of them might have, probably should have, but, they didn't.
But, Jennifer Grey's character, she probably should have.
Possibly.
So, you got that. Okay. Betty and Oliver are basically fired.
Yes.
After this. Because their show is basically taken off the air for them.
Taken off the air to be replaced by...
Ralph and Marcy.
Yes.
Or Macy. Macy's the woman that Ralph left Betty for.
Yes. Weird love triangles.
Then I had to sit here and it's like, I think Cliff DeYoung sings weirdly.
But he sings...
facial movements.
He sings better than Jessica Harper does in this. Like, at least his voice fits the styling that they're going for.
I don't know, because of some of the way he pronounces his words are just like, rawr, and I'm just like, well, what? Or I'm like, rawr.
Yeah.
The way he just looked at me.
The
way he just looked at me.
You were just doing this thing, and I'm like, why are you doing the facial movements with it, too? Just rawr.
That's what he did. That's what he fucking did. He's just like, ah.
Well, there was that whole scene where they did close-ups on him doing what I can only imagine was this masturbation orgasm face when he was playing Farley.
Oh, when Jessica was singing Me of Me?
Yes.
And grabs the guitar and everything?
And he's just like, he is basically shooting his shot behind the screen right there, just...
Oh, I know. I was going to write that down. I was like, he looks like he's just got off to everything.
Excuse me, sir. When did this become voyeuristic masturbation porn? I don't understand.
Well, in Rocky Horror Picture Show, Magenta says she has a voyeuristic intention.
I need shock treatment to get his cum face out of my head. Just... And he said that he was trying to play it like Jack Nicholson. That character, like Jack Nicholson.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see any Jack Nicholson in that cum face at all? Jack Nicholson's cum face?
Yes.
I've never seen Jack Nicholson do a cum face, so I can't tell you that. Never watched a movie where he shot his shot.
Neither have I, but if I had to imagine what it looked like, it was that.
If I had to imagine Jack Nicholson's cum face, I would think of shock treatment. You know?
You don't remember everything, do you?
I remember a bit.
So during the song "Shock Treatment," no, it's an ace. You're dealing with an ace or whatever.
Yeah.
When Farley is basically singing to Janet, Patricia Quinn does this thing where she likes to put her hand down or something, or put her chin on something while she's singing. She did the same thing in Rocky Horror. She did it in this one too.
Yeah. Yes, she did.
Draw that
thing where she kind of
draw that parallel.
Does that thing?
Like, well, she didn't do that thing. She just put her head straight down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like she doesn't do what those other 2 teeny boppers were. And I was like, I'm gonna be the bitch of this damn podcast right now, because I'm about to say that white bitch they had is the one of the 2 goody 2 shoes. Like the black one was pretty. That white one, I was like, why do they keep doing close ups of her? Stop.
The cheerleader.
Yeah. The white one just like stop. I don't want to see her face like that.
Okay, I'm gonna add to that. There is a scene where they have the rock band, like the punk band that plays, right?
Yeah.
And they go behind, and you see both of the girls from behind, and it looks like the white girl is wearing a diaper. It did not look like underwear. It looked like a fucking diaper. I'm like, at first I'm sitting here, I'm looking for, who's wearing the diaper? Did they have a cheerleader that shit themselves in the middle of this? Who's wearing the diaper? And then they go to the front, and I'm like, it's the white chick? The white chick's wearing the diaper? And I kept waiting for her to take a spin, so I'm like, is she actually wearing a diaper? Or is she just wearing these really weird underwear, just baggy Spanx or something?
God, you said this white chick, and I was like, maybe she's sitting, because she looked, okay, by the time she's wearing that diaper, like, when you look at their faces when they're supposed to be singing, they both look like they're just done with it.
Right.
And it's like, you said the white chick, and I'm like, she's so fucking pissed.
Yeah, right there. She was just kind of that. She could have been a guy. Maybe this was the transvestite of this show. You don't know.
was not cute. She was not
She was
pretty. And
not
they kept doing
cute.
close-ups. I'm like, her angle is best shot. Her beauty is best shot and wide.
I'm like sitting here. I'm trying to figure out if they actually have her, because she was like, if they have her name somewhere around here, cheerleader. No, they don't have the cheerleader listed at all. I can't find her.
She has a different name because they actually gave her a name.
Did they give her names?
Yeah,
What
because
was-
like the black one was Francine or Frankie.
Okay, so there's Frankie, but then who was she?
If I look it up
Frankie.
on Google, it'll have her picture from Shock Treatment on there.
Oh, good lord. Really?
Yeah, I just don't want to pull up my phone because I was watching something naughty earlier and it might just start playing.
Oh, yeah, no, don't do that. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
I'm
I don't
good.
want our viewers to hear it either.
Look, I don't need to hear the masturbation porn. Just move on. Mute it for a second if you have to.
I mean, it might be one of those things where it might be, Cliff DeYoung having his masturbation moment.
It's like, I watched Cliff DeYoung a few times, and at first I was like, that's really disgusting. Then a few minutes later, I was like, your cum face is growing on me. Anyway.
As long as it doesn't come on me, I'm fine.
Yeah, let's move on from his cum face and let's talk about something else. I'll keep looking up the name, but you find something else. Let's move on with this.
So basically, they talk Janet into doing all this stuff, and then and she wants to see Brad so bad they won't let her. And they tell her she has to stay there the night, and that's when we get into the song Lullaby. And this is when we find out basically that Nation and Cosmo basically have a Riff Raff and Magenta thing of incest again.
Oh God.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's like, why does this have to be a common theme? It's like, I get it, it's a sequel, but you're not playing the same characters, and they're not even supposed to be the same characters as if they came back to Earth and played different people.
Okay. Well.
Like, this incest thing is spent. I do notice that they never actively have them kiss. Like, he'll, like, nibble on her neck or whatever, but they never actively kiss in either one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little, I don't know, it's kind of creepy. But just
well, in the 70s they had transsexuals.
Okay, I get that. I'm just thinking.
Well, I don't know. Their land was called transsexual, but he was a transvestite, which is just basically somebody dressing up in the opposite clothing to get their sexual kick.
She was attractive in both movies, and both movies made him look decidedly unattractive.
Yeah, I can agree.
So
even with her big hair, she looked like, even with her big hair, like as Maid Magenta to her Bride of Frankenstein hair at the end.
Look, she was
Rocky
like
Horror.
she was like the sexy, creepy Lucille Ball. That's what that was. She looked good, but his characters always looked really creepy. So when you think about them kind of getting close, and you're looking at it going, "Honey, no, don't." Columbia, the nurse, do whatever. Don't. No.
It's like,
don't. Oh, good. What was the scream for? You startled me. I zoned out for a second. Why did you scream?
Sorry. I said stop.
Stop. Oh, so you said stop.
To stop.
I'm trying to carry on a conversation and still look up this girl's name, and it's not. I'm not finding it anywhere.
And then, so we're getting to the whole song of Lullaby, where Little Nell has her next solo.
Yes.
And Jessica Harper has hers that doesn't make any sense, and her low ass voice with everybody else's voice. I don't know. Her singing voice with Magenta's, Patricia Quinn's singing voice. It actually worked together for me.
Okay.
If you hear the contrast between their voices, it worked together.
Yeah, I just didn't like Jessica Harper all that much, though. Like, her voice, mind you, there was some things where she leaned heavy into that bass in her voice.
Her name is Claire Toman. She
Toman.
played Brenda Drill.
That's what her name is? Brenda Drill? Is that what I kept skipping over?
Yes, because she was the sister of the main singer, whatever, in the...
Okay. So that Frankie and
Oscar
Brenda
Drill.
Drill. So
Yeah.
That's fine. Your sister's wearing a diaper, bud.
Okay, and see, here's the other thing. It's like, she's actually... I see some other pictures of her, and she's not so bad looking.
It's just the way that they made her up in this movie.
Yeah. So, forgive me,
Brenda
Claire,
Drill.
You're actually... Her name is Claire.
I know, I'm calling her Brenda Drill. That's fine.
You're calling her Brenda?
I'm calling her Brenda.
Shut up, Brenda!
Brenda Drill.
Brenda Drill.
Drill.
Yeah. So you got that. Everything's... Oh, one thing I also had to bring up. They're fucking mowing the grass inside. during the man song.
They gave him a nice patch of grass behind door number 1. It's like, go mow this. Oh, come on, man. Really? Yes, go mow it. Why am I mowing this? Just do it.
Oh, another thing brought from Rocky Horror. The lighting in the lullaby song when everyone's going to sleep and turning off their lights.
Right.
Is reminiscent of the lights from Brad and Janet's room. Well, basically Brad's, because all the lights are blue, but still. Brad's lighting in his room in Rocky Horror.
Yes.
Where you just see the blue lighting and the black shadows.
Yes.
So.
I mean, that was also meant to contrast feminine versus masculine sexuality in that particular movie, if I'm not mistaken.
You're talking about for Rocky Horror?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would make sense. Because
Yeah.
Brenda.
Brenda.
Janet was in the pink room while Brad was in the blue room.
The little black dress song is playing over here to my left.
The little black dress.
Yes, the little black dress.
Yeah, rip.
Like,
I'm not there yet. That comes up
and
next for
snip,
me.
snip. Yeah, that's next.
Although I don't understand the dead bird thing. Like, it's never brought up again.
No?
No, it's just, does this belong to any of you? And then Betty, like, screams. I'm just like, but why?
I feel like something was cut out there. There's like a cut scene somewhere that would have explained the dead bird.
Probably, because that did not go together with anything else.
It's like, there's movies that I watch that occasionally, like, something will pop up, and it's like they forgot to cut a particular scene that matched up with something else they cut out of the movie. We need to cut this out for time. It doesn't really fit. Yes, but it explains the seagull 5 scenes later. You know? Oh, shit. Well, we're now realizing this watch. Oh, the seagull. We don't explain the seagull anymore and why she practically had a fainting spell. You know? Okay. Nothing to do with that.
So we get the little black dress.
Right.
And Janet's makeup goes back to being reminiscent of, like, when she was on the floor show in Rocky Horror. Like, that really pale-ass, dark eyes.
They were going
like,
for a very...
It's more 80s vibe.
I think
still, like, that pale face.
I realize this movie came out well before Beetlejuice, but it felt very reminiscent of Lydia Dietz.
But, no.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm drawing to, considering Lydia Dietz wasn't even thought of yet.
I'm saying it wasn't thought of yet. It feels like that. Never mind.
Well, I get what you're saying, but it's like I'm having to bring it back to the movie it's supposed to be a part of.
Yeah, fine. Just do what you're doing.
You know what? Sir, do you hear me?
I made my comment and I stand by it. I'm thinking. Oh. I'm thinking of the scene where they're all standing around the. Where they're all standing around the table in Beetlejuice, and they're doing 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot punch, and they're all dancing around.
Yeah, but you're more referring. You're talking about Delia Dietz.
Delia. Oh, maybe I was thinking Delia, not Lydia.
But that's just
Lydia's
the dress, not her makeup.
Daughter. Lydia's the daughter. That's right.
Yeah, Delia's the stepmom.
The stepmom. I'm thinking the stepmom. Sorry, Catherine O'Hare.
Yeah, but that's like. Yeah, but that's like the dress, not her makeup.
Right. I'm not thinking about the makeup.
I was referring to the makeup, kind of like a recall to the floor show look with that pale face and dark eye.
Why did he start? I mean, you've listened to the little black dress song that leads into her song about me, and like mind you, Cliff DeYoung's cum face starts around the time that the two cheerleaders kind of poke their way in, dressed in these pink fucking tutus. Just these ballerina tutus that look horrible on the both of them. And that's when he started going, yeah. He was getting ready to do whatever he was doing behind his console. Banker was going to cash out right there.
Oh, fuck. I'm done. No, I'm not done. So apparently after that, Farley wants Janet. We could tell by his face.
Does he really want Janet, or does he want the chick in the diaper? Are you sure?
You're making me wheeze.
I didn't make you wheeze.
You made me wheeze.
I made you laugh. The wheezing came from the vape.
No.
No?
I was wheezing long before I was vaping.
All right.
Just from laughing, though. I'm not like a wheezer. You can't call me wheezy.
Wheezy. Now moving on up. Okay, anyway. Yeah, the Jefferson. You're Jefferson. There you go. You're no longer Miss P. You're Jefferson.
No. I fucking know.
Miss Jefferson. Wheezy!
So next we get the next thing. Oh, wait.
Yeah?
I am right.
What? You are right?
Janet is, look how fabulous I look. Or look how fabulous I am. Whatever the line is. What's the line?
Brad, I just came to tell you how fabulous I am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's where we get some shock treatment in.
Yeah, I think shock treatment comes like shortly after that.
Yeah. Because we get that. She gets some fourth wall breaking because her dad is like, you look like you're practically naked. And she's like, I can't wear anything under here, Daddy. It would ruin the line.
She spends a large portion of time looking at the camera, but you can't call it fourth wall breaking. Because of the fact that technically this entire show is being filmed as almost a reality television style thing. So she would look in the camera.
There's only one thing I would say that looked like it was fourth wall breaking, because everything else I was like, this is more reality show. It was when she was in that room right before they start singing shock treatment, and it's like she looks into the camera and says, it's for his own good, then looks away.
Right. Again, it's not a fourth wall break, only because of the fact that she's talking to the audience within the television station as opposed to talking to the audience at home. So it's technically...
I'm kidding.
Well, it's not technically a fourth wall break because she's not talking to us, the audience. She's talking to DTV's audience.
Well, I thought she was talking to me.
Well,
me,
aren't you a little self-centered?
Me.
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 Okay,
moving on. Then we get the fucking little Nell, like, basically just showing off her panties again, climbing on the cage.
Yep, yeah, there's a lot of panties for little Nell. Not that I'm complaining.
You said she wasn't as attractive to you in this one.
She wasn't as attractive. I didn't say she wasn't attractive. I'm just saying she wasn't as attractive.
Alright, so to try to move this along, Janet gets a big head from the fame, and she's being drugged by Nation and Cosmo.
Right.
To keep going with it. We have the dream sequence of she was looking for trade, which I was going to rat on her for, but like it was a dream sequence, so I can't really hate on her for it. One thing I can hate on her for, though, is back when they put Brad into the cage, her song of In My Own Way, she's basically saying she's not in love with Brad, she just loves Brad now.
Right. Which is
like, that's what I was like, really? Really, bitch?
Well, I mean, she was... I want to say she loved Brad during the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but by the end of the movie, there was a bit of distance between the two of them because of that, you know, her having that sexual break and him having his little thing, and, you know, everything that happened, there was a bit of distance. And if we're following the fact that they're basically continuing from that first movie, then there's going to be a little distance. They tried to make it work, but she may not love him anymore, or be in love with him anymore. She just kind of loves him, you know?
Yeah, I can get that.
I love you like a friend, but we ain't fucking, you know, just something like that.
I don't want to Peter no more.
You know, I could look at you at one point and say, oh my God, I am so in love with that face. And then one day I woke up and gone, but that face.
That face, you know? When it comes.
That face. I mean, at one point you had a whole Barry Bostwick thing going on, and now I don't even know what this is. Who are you?
I don't know who you are anymore.
Who is Cliff? I don't get it.
He's got some split personality disorder there.
You're Cliff, you're Brad, you're Bill. Who's Bill?
You're Bill.
There's no Bill here.
Did I say Bill? I didn't mean Bill, I said Barry.
Barry Bostwick, not Bill Paxton. My brain went whoop. Went somewhere else.
Let's move on. Who's Bill?
That's that part of the personality we don't want to talk about.
That's when you're accidentally telling yourself for having another lover. Bill? I didn't say Bill. You said Bill. I didn't bring a Bill into this. You did.
That's Rocky's secret name. I call him Bill. Oh no, it's Mr. Bill. Anyway.
Oh God, I remember Mr. Bill.
Yes.
That just brought me back. All right. So long story short, we find out from Oliver and Betty are going like snooping, they find out that Brad and Farley are actually twins. So they
Oh
go to
no,
rescue
really?
Brad.
You couldn't tell.
No, I couldn't. Actually, the first time I watched it, I had to look it up and see if he was playing both parts or somebody else was playing Farley.
I mean, all Cliff DeYoung needs to be Superman is just a little grease in his hair to slick it back. It's Superman!
And take off the glasses.
Leave the pants on, thank you. Thankfully, we didn't get to see him in his underwear.
Oh, thank the gods.
Anyway.
I would not want to see him in tidy whities. Or any underwear.
You smuggling peas? Anyway.
Barry's over there smuggling pears or oranges or something, and you're like, what's
That's
that?
a bit of elephantitis. That's a whole completely different thing.
That was what?
Elephantitis.
Damn, Barry.
Look it
Damn.
up. Look it up.
I know what it is.
It can sometimes end up in a wheelbarrow. Let me tell you.
I don't know. No.
As in the size of an elephantitis.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Okay. Moving
Anyway,
on.
Betty and Ralph save him, finds out they're twins, brings them out, and ruins his whole plan type of thing. But all these people are so demented and brainwashed, they still go along with it, and they happily run around and go to the asylum type place to go get their treatment. Because mental health is important, and Farley guarantees it.
Yeah. I don't think any of them have mental health.
I don't think they had a mental...
This
They didn't have a mental problem before that place became a TV studio.
No. Mind you, this is
And
after...
then the boob tube.
This is after they locked him... They locked everybody in the closet, and once again, the what's her name?
Betty.
Betty picks the lock and lets them out. And
then they start thinking about doing it any way they can.
doing it any way they can. I'm like, oh, great. They're going to go drive off in that, and there's going to be another orgy around the corner. How do these two always end up in orgies? It was the swinging 70s, you know?
Just say, oh no, Janet chose Brad.
Janet chose Brad, yes. Or she may end up with the lead singer of that punk band. You don't know.
I don't know. He might be doing the other dude.
Possibly.
He seemed a
What about the
little
judge?
sweet. And he might be both.
What she might need a silver fox in her life. What about the judge?
Ugh,
He
I
had
think he's
a-
doing it with Betty.
What is with the mouth? Yeah. He had
His mouth did not look like that, I don't think, in Rocky Horror.
no, but he had a smile that, like, in that movie, like, he had a smile, like, if he had just smiled a little bit, he would have looked like the Joker. Just,
Yeah, he
you
had
know how I got
almost,
these
like,
scars?
he had that, like, he had the starting of the, like, Glasgow smile.
I don't fucking know how I got the scars either. Nope, no clue. All right, so let's see. Any favorite characters or scenes in this movie?
In this one?
In this one, yes.
I won't lie. The scenes for Bitchin' in the Kitchen and Lullaby live rent-free in my mind. But that's mainly more the music, not the scene itself.
I would say the wording for Bitchin' in the Kitchen is where
Yeah.
I was just like, how did they... This is not a sober mind that came up with this at all.
I mean, I was sitting there watching. I was like, hey, actually, you know what? Over half of these... I was like, I know what all of these are.
It's like, I understand. What is the micro-digital awaker? What?
It's like, who the fuck... I actually looked it up today. I was like, what is a micro-digital awaker? And they're like, the only thing it brought up was shock treatment. Literally. That's all it brought up was shock treatment.
If you
And I was
call
like, oh,
your
so it's
alarm...
just an alarm clock called different something.
If
Or
you
different
call
thing.
an alarm clock a micro-digital awaker, you might need shock treatment. Brought to
I
you
may
by
never call it
Farley
anything else
Flavors.
again.
Brought to you by Farley Flavors from the Nazi McDonald's Corporation. Do, 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 do.
McDonald's.
Uh,
But you know what? I may never call an alarm clock another thing again. It might always now be a micro-digital awaker.
micro-digital awaker. I'm gonna have to bring that. There's like some movies that I've watched that I've been like, I have to try to slip these words or sayings into actual conversations. For the longest time after watching Joe versus the Volcano, I was trying to slip flibberty-gibbet into conversation. I'm such
you
a
talking about that.
flibberty-gibbet. Just...
I remember you talking about that once. You're like, I'm going to be saying that in everything now.
You were on that podcast where I was like, you're
I was.
such a flibberty-gibbet. Just Meg Ryan saying flibberty-gibbet was the best. It was the best.
That was like, what was it called? Joe versus the Volcano?
Joe versus the Volcano,
That
yes.
was one of those movies I didn't like.
You didn't like... Well, you don't like Tom Hanks. You're not a Tom Hanks fan.
No, I'm not.
No. Which is weird. Like, this is the America's male sweetheart. Like, Tom Hanks, like, everybody loves. And you're like, he's got a slappable face. You know? Like, Tom Hanks? What?
I think I said that.
Yes, I believe you did. I believe you did.
He does.
I'm like, you don't like Tom Hanks. I kind of understand why Nico doesn't like some of the guys she doesn't like. You're just like, who don't you like? Fuck Tom Hanks. You know, just, what?
Now,
You're in a very small crowd there.
In his defense, he's a great actor. In
Yes.
not his defense, he's also an ugly one.
You don't think he's good looking?
No.
Okay. All right, hold on. He hit past his prime at one point. He was a good looking guy when he was younger. He really
Where?
was.
When?
The problem is that he also kind of went the Jim Carrey route with, like, he did these weird faces at certain points in his movies. And it's like he went from, hey, you're a good-looking guy. And it was like, what the fuck just happened to your face? Like, how did you manage to make 3 different facial reactions all on the same face? There's terror, there's happy, there's a little bit of drool. I don't know what's going on with you, man.
The way you just said that was like how, oh god, I forgot her real name. One day he was like Anne Frank. No, it's not Anne Frank. I don't know.
It's not
Anyways,
Anne Frank
she was on
either.
Schitt's-
Just
she was on Schitt's Creek with Catherine O'Hara. You
Okay.
talk about the 3 faces, and she was talking about how Catherine O'Hara turned one syllable word into 3 syllables. She's like, do we know how this man expired? She's like, how did you turn how into 3 syllables?
how? How?
Do we know how this man expired?
It's like, good job, Catherine. Great.
I love her. She was amazing in Schitt's Creek.
I just like Catherine O'Hara in general.
So do I.
There's nothing I've seen her in that I didn't like her role. I'm going to say that only because there's movies I've seen her in that I didn't particularly like the movie, but her role within the movie was good.
I mean, same. Like, I didn't really like Orange County, but I loved her in it.
Right. So, okay, turning it up to 11, on a scale from 1 to 11, what would you give this film? Dead silence. You gave this dead silence. Great. That's a great rating right there. Just
I gave it to go with this movie. I gave it a flat line.
You gave it a flat line.
No.
Yep.
I gave it a 4.
We're gonna need to shock you awake with that micro digital waker.
I give it a 4.5.
A 4.5. Oh, that's below the IMDb average, and they go to 10. Shit. IMDb has an average of, I believe, 5.3. That's the average for it.
I'll happily watch it again, but it's not one of my favorite films. It's not one of the worst ones I've ever seen, but like I can't get past the fact that it's actually supposed to be a sequel, so I can't really completely take it as its own movie.
Okay. So I got past the fact that it's a sequel because I heard so much bad stuff about it as a sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show. So immediately I went into this movie and say, okay, fine. I'm going to pretend that Rocky Horror Picture Show doesn't exist. This is its own fucking thing. So if you take this as a pure sequel to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, my rating is going to be a solid fucking 3. All right? This is not a sequel to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, as far as I'm concerned. Jad and Brannon. Fuck me.
Come on, Jad and Brannon.
Yo, Jad. Anyway, Brad and Janet in this film are kind of a pale facsimile of what they were in the original movie. So I'd give it a solid
Jad and
3.
Brannon were.
Yeah, Jad and Brannon. That could have been their couple name. You don't know. You know?
They're like Brangelina. They're Brannon.
Yeah, like Brannon. That being said, if you take it as a movie on its own, you just eliminate the idea of having it be a sequel to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Unto itself with the soundtrack, it was a fun concept. You know, almost 2 decades before it basically predicted reality television, 2 decades before it became reality television, and evangelical reality television at that. And I would probably give it a 7 as a movie unto itself. Because it was a fun movie to watch. I'm not disappointed that I sat and watched this. You know? I've actually watched it like 3 times at this point in 1 week, and I'm sitting here like, I don't mind that I spent almost 6 hours watching this film.
I mean, I don't either. It's like, if I gave a film a 4.5, I'm not sitting there like completely hating it. It's something I'd watch again, and I didn't like mind watching it.
See, when I rate something under a 5, it's something that this is just me, though, because I don't hate a lot of things. There's not a lot of movies that I just go, I can't watch that again. There is one, I can tell you right off the top of my head, Broken Arrow, I will never watch again. Because I tried so hard to get through that fucking movie. So hard.
For me, that'd be Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, yeah. We still have to talk about that movie next Thanksgiving, because we didn't want to do it yet. We didn't do the Thanksgiving episode.
I was ready for it.
You are currently the second person I have subjected to that movie, and the episode didn't happen. There is a curse behind Thanksgiving. It's like, okay, let's sit down and watch this. And then we both watch the movie, and then for some reason the episode never happens. I did this with you, I did this with Peyton. We set the date, and just it didn't happen.
I was about to say, we set the date, and then I was ready. I thought it was Peyton who wasn't ready.
No.
And then it was like, no, it was something with you.
It was something that Peyton wasn't ready, and then I wasn't ready, and then just a bunch of stuff fell apart, and then we didn't end up doing a Thanksgiving episode.
I kept asking, I was like, are we going to do this? Are we going to do this? Did I watch
And
this
I
for
was
nothing?
like, at that point, I was just like, fuck it, let's just get into the Christmas stuff. You know? Because you kind of have to do the Thanksgiving episode the weekend before Thanksgiving, not the weekend after Thanksgiving. That would be me trying to research things on my phone while accidentally slapping it across my desk for the 3rd time during this recording. So if you hear this awful thumping, sliding, scuttling, that's just me smacking my phone around the desk over here. Because I have
was being a dirty bitch.
No, because I have no hand-eye coordination, and even with these glasses on, it ain't helping me see much but the numbers on the screen.
The numbers?
The numbers on the screen. Yes.
I
will say that even at a 7, Rocky Horror Picture Show and the Shock Treatment film proved that Richard O'Brien can turn a fucking tune and make a catchy fucking song. He really can.
I agree. Like I said, Bitchin' in the Kitchen, the lullaby lives rent-free in my mind, and so do over half the songs of Rocky Horror.
I would drop a decent bit of bank on both of these soundtracks to have a nice vinyl pressing of both of them. I really would.
I mean, I ain't dropping a lot of money on these things. Like I said, I'll just go to YouTube Music and download it because I pay for that subscription.
Look, I'm a collector. Okay?
Hey, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying what I'm doing.
I am like on the low end of collector because I've only got a couple of shelves here. It's not like I have an entire room just dedicated to movies and, vinyl soundtracks. Maybe someday.
Yet.
Yeah, yet. Just need
if y'all can see me and my finger, I'm finally looking at him in the camera and pointing at him.
You just need to make a little bit of money. You have to bring in the money. By the way, we're going to have a Patreon soon.
We will. We are.
I've been saying we're going to have a Patreon soon for the past 2 years. And
I'm getting it done, y'all. I'm getting it done. I'm getting some advice on it tomorrow.
I've said it for a couple of years. It hasn't happened yet. So is there anything else you want to say about the film before we send ourselves off into the sunset here?
No, not really. It's like, I think we rated Rocky Horror Picture Show appropriately. It was an 11.
It was an 11.
No doubt about it.
I got a solid 7 on my end. You're like a 4.5.
Oh, what was your favorite song in Rocky Horror Picture Show?
My favorite song in Rocky Horror Picture Show? I mean, I'm going to be the atypical guy and just go with the Time Warp. Come on. I've always wanted to do the Time Warp. It's just a step to the left.
And then a jump to the right. It's a jump.
Is it a step to the step to the left and a jump to the right, or is it a jump to the left and a step to the right?
It's a jump to the left and then a step to the right.
It's just a jump to the left and a step to the right.
You put your hands on your hip and you bring your knees in tight.
Yes.
It's a pelvic thrust. really drives you insane.
By the way, Bert Schnick was not in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. There was a woman that looked like Bert Schnick that was in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I'm so sorry for her.
I was looking it up while we were like, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I thought that Bert Schnick was in this, but that was a woman. Okay. I'm sorry, honey. She was that. Yeah, I was looking at it. I looked through the whole list and was like, wow, you're the Bert Schnick of this movie.
She was
just.
She was not given a great go at life.
That's a little bit rough, but at least you're not the teenage cheerleader wearing a diaper. Okay, at least you're not that. All right.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show, I'd have to say that probably Over at the Frankenstein Place is my favorite song.
Okay, and what's your favorite song from this film?
From this one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tie. That's like a tie between Bitchin' in the Kitchen and Lullaby.
Yeah, I'm solid. I'm like right in there with Bitchin' in the Kitchen.
Yeah.
I would say that I hate the Man song.
I do hate the Man song. I don't know. It's catchy.
Mind you, it's catchy.
The tune is catchy.
It's catchy, but for all the wrong reasons.
The tune is catchy for me, not the words.
It was definitely indicative of 1970s Uber Texas masculinity, though.
Yeah.
So it's different now, but you know what I mean.
But you know what else I think draws me to the songs and Shock Treatment are the ones that Nell Campbell are singing in, because I don't know why, but I like her voice when she sings, and I don't know why. It's like it's so high pitched and squeaky, and I'm like, normally I hate that, but for some odd reason it works for her.
Yeah, it's like somebody fed like helium to Fran Drescher. It's very interesting. Like Fran Drescher's already got a high pitched nasally thing going, but this is like, hey, have you been sucking on the funny gas? What's going on here? Okay, so we don't have another catchphrase to send off the podcast yet, so why don't you just send us off the normal way?
Drink some water, you thirsty bitches.
And with that, I'm gonna go drink some soda because I'm really not into the water tonight.
I'm totally into the water. I'm an aquaholic.